Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, back to the final round, round 4 here at DP 2025, the Polish Drift Championship, celebrating 15 years of smoke. We're back at Tor Poznań. My name is Brandon Kaya. I'm joined by Guillaume Reedy, and we're going into our second half of pro qualifying runs. So far, it's been very interesting, and the scores have been very not what we were expecting.
No, not what we were expecting. We were looking to see a lot higher qualifying, Brandon, I think. But there's a lot of sections of this track that are really kind of throwing drivers, especially clip 1 to 2, and then between clip 4 and 5 there's a little bit of a bump there. So we will see how the rest of the grid how we go for our second half of our battles, how the grid handles the rest of it now, with maybe grip levels have changed again because we haven't had anyone out on track for the last kind of half hour, 40 minutes. So we want to see if really can we get some higher qualifying scores in there. It's like last round, we saw a lot of 90s last round. We want to see
Witamy prosto z
scores.
gorącego toru w Poznaniu. No dzieje się tu co niemiara. Miałem okazję porozmawiać z kierowcami podczas kwalifikacji, przejść się po padokach, no i wszyscy mówią zgodnie. Bardzo dobrze, że kończymy na torze w Poznaniu, bo tor w Poznaniu, jak się okazuje, jednym z ulubionych w stawce naszych kierowców.
Jak najbardziej. Tor jest bardzo techniczny, zresztą nie tylko jeśli chodzi o drift, ale także o inne wyścigi. Za to ja pokazuję Państwu wszystkie atrakcje, które dzisiaj dla Was mamy, bo mamy ich naprawdę wiele i można bardzo fajne rzeczy zgarnąć na niektórych tutaj stanowiskach, które dla Was przygotowaliśmy. Także zachęcam Was serdecznie, abyście brali udział aktywnie tutaj we wszystkich zabawach, które mamy.
No można się pojawić w Poznaniu, wręcz do tego zachęcamy, bo no już w tym sezonie okazji, żeby spotkać się z nami nie będzie. Tor w Poznaniu zaprasza jeszcze dziś i jutro oczywiście. No i cóż, jesteśmy z Wami podczas dzisiejszych kwalifikacji, jutro podczas finałów.
Tak jest, dużo emocji dzisiaj jeszcze przed nami, a jutro na pewno jeszcze więcej, także bądźcie z nami, zapraszamy Was serdecznie na nasz legendarny Tor Poznań.
So that is Camille and Victoria. They are our social media for DMP and on-track reporter. So Camille handles all of our trackside interviews and amazing work all season to everyone who's been involved so far. And we've got so much action ahead of us waiting to go. So we're just going to quickly have a quick little look at the layout shortly. And if you weren't with us for the first half of qualifying, obviously we are into the second runs now. And there is a lot to be seen. As you can see, the track is looking absolutely stunning. The weather is gorgeous. The temperatures must be insane over there as well. So as we get our drivers gridded up and ready, we'll be moving on to our track layout very shortly. And we'll take you through and show you what's going on.
Yeah, so Brandon, we can see the track layout here. We can see our drone shot of our track, how big it is. It is actually quite a fast-paced track. We will walk you through this track now in a second when we get the video up. Having just a few slight technical difficulties today, unfortunately, but we will have it now. So, track layout. So we start at the modal start line. We come out through the start line chicane. It's a nice short run up, but the guys are getting very high speeds through here. We're seeing about 112, 113 kilometers an hour into clip 1 here. There's a slight decel before clip 1, and the guys will carry that momentum around nice and wide towards clip 2. After clip 2, they're keeping the pedal down, transitioning back mid-track towards wide line, then outside zone 3. The judges want to see the drivers getting there as early as humanly possible. So once they get into outside zone 3, this is the longest zone that we have on the track. This is where all the points are gained, so you want to be perfect on that outside line. Then we come down into this Monji section here. The judges want a little bit of a mid-track transition there, back towards outer zone 4. There's a little bit of a decel there. Coming through there, you can see that little bit of green tarmac there in the track. There is a bit of a bump there. That's throwing some competitors. Coming after that is out inner clip 5 and across the line. So Brandon, this is one of the most technical tracks. It might not look it, but with the speed combined with the clips and how they're placed, this is a very testing track, and it's very, very suitable for the final here of this round of this season.
Yep, definitely. It's a fast but technical layout, and obviously car positioning is so important on this layout. As we've been seeing from 1 to 2, there's been a lot of people struggling to get into there, and obviously the setup from 2 to 3 all depends on your initiation. So getting the initiation down properly is key. But obviously, the judges are keeping an eye out for everything. So speaking of the judges, here they are. Our amazing judging panel just coming up in a second. They have been working tirelessly for the entire season, and honestly, we thank them for all of the hard work they've been putting in.
Yeah, so we have Piri Virkula, we have Mateusz Jedzik, David Kalas, and Karol Jablinski. David Kalas is our head judge. He is our style judge for today.
So we are having first session of qualification behind us. And what a session it was. It was really good runs from a couple of drivers. It was actually a surprising session because the top runners of the challenge of this year are not in the top places. So we will see if in second part of the qualification they can keep up with, at this moment, highest qualifiers.
So yeah, we've got plenty of action ahead of us, and this is only the first day as well. Obviously, tomorrow we've got semi-pro top 16 and the pro top 32. But right now, this is where it matters. Qualifying. Mads Andersen has a lot of work to do to get a top qualifier, to get the maximum amount of points he can out of this round. Obviously, if he can top qualify and do well, then he is this could be his championship. But obviously, right now, there are other drivers in contention for the championships. We're going to have to see what happens through qualifying, because this is the first step of the weekend, and this is probably the most nerve-wracking part for all the drivers, as it all comes down, your results always come down to how you qualify. So we'll have to see. Honestly, I can't read this chat. I can't take it seriously. I'm just saying, do you think any of the judges know that Benedict knows how to kickflip?
Well, touching on Benedict, he is one of our wildcard drivers for this round. Two of the main wildcards that you would have seen on our social medias is Benedict, who is Kuba Progonski's spotter. He is taking out Kuba's second car, and Kuba is doing a bit of spotting for him when he can. And then the other driver is Lukasz. He is taking out Peter Visek's A90 Supra from Drift Masters, and I'm going to be honest, he'd had a very, very good first run. So we will get this second half of qualifying kicked off right now.
So here we go. We're going to be going into our qualifying, but let's have a look at what drivers are going to be coming up in order for the second half of qualifying. Obviously, if you were with us in the previous stream, then you'll know the order. But Kian, we have got so many drivers to go through.
We do indeed. Starting off first off is going to be Artem Huzva, and then Lukasz Kaliszewski. That is Peter Visek car. And then we've Timur Lipski. He is driving another A90. Then we have Benedikt Sigurdsson, who is Kuba Progonski's spotter. He will be taking out Kuba's second car, that GR86. Then we've David Spasov, who topped qualifying, that 97-point run. An unbelievable heavy hitter here to shake up the championship a bit, I think. Michał Focik, Konstantin Shuryenko, we have Tim Heydrich, Mikkel Hambui, Jasnik Olnik. The list goes on. None of these drivers are small names. All these guys, pretty much a lot of people will know these names when you go through them. But even if you look at our wildcard drivers there, 1 to 7 is unbelievable heavy hitters. Like Konstantin Shuryenko, he's been around for years. David Spasov builds probably half the cars on the grid at this stage. He's got so many Spasov S15s out there, it's not even funny. Benedikt Sigurdsson, he's well known in the sim community and obviously in chat as well. We can see there Lukasz Kaliszewski, well known as well. He's been around for a very, very long time. Moving on then, we have Krzysztof Pylonka, followed up by Mateusz Druzkin, followed by Peter Stanczak, Krzysztof Kozkars. Then we have Christian Salmer, Alexei Holovnia. We have Dariusz Fabiuszak, followed by Mateusz Fiał, Michał Reichardt, and Krzysztof Zazuyak. Then we move on to Maciej Żarkowicz, Peter Utasi, Joachim Vagard, Karolina Pilarczyk, Christian Erlandson, Lukasz Wilczek, Alexander Fiau, Dominik Kerr, Marek Wartowicz, Zolt Homan. Then we have Tobias Pushan, Pavel Hudacek, Piotr Kozłowski, Thomas Magniar, who did miss his first run. We have Samuel Mladenov, Marcin Neyman, we've Kamil Horecki, Fabian Dorzinski, Mateusz Suski, Victor Vedemark. Then we move on to Bartosz Solarski, Greg Merlu, Victor Anderson, Oris Michael Hook, Krevin Vrubel, we've Mikhail Jarokeski, Nassar Al-Harbali, Urias, Jakub Pregonski, Valery Shevlov, Jakub Kroll, and then our final two drivers, Lukasz Taszemski and Mads Andersen. These guys are unbelievable. The grid is stacked. I cannot wait for the second half of this qualifying session. It's going to be unbelievable, Brandon.
For sure. An absolutely stacked grid with some mental talent behind it. But the first half has proven, no matter how much talent you have, this track has been catching some people out. So we'll have to see what happens as we have Artem leaving the line in his S14. I do not believe that is an S13. Someone's going to have to go and check if it is a 13 chassis, but I do believe it's a 14 as he initiates into out zone 1. Nice so far. Looking a bit shallow though on 2. Once again, that is another area that is just a problem. Painting the tyres white from the lines of out zone 3. Coming around and transitioning now into out zone 4. Not too shabby as it comes around in towards inner clip 5. Not too bad at all. Maybe cutting it a bit there. So we're going to have to see what the scores are.
Yeah, let's have a look at this run. So initiating into clip 1 very nicely. Again, this is a section where a lot of drivers are struggling, not making it out completely to outer zone 2. Slightly missing that there is Artem as he transitions back towards outer zone 3 here. Gets into outer zone 3 nicely there, carries the line quite well until he starts to drop a little bit of a wheel. You see the dirt just being thrown up there as he does get back online then. As he comes through the center section now, transitions back towards outer zone 4 and gets down into outer zone 4. And as I was saying earlier, right here, just on that green section, there's a little bit of a bump that's thrown a few drivers. It's unsettling cars as we have Artem going through inner clip 5 and across the line. Very, very interesting to see what this comes up to be score-wise, Brandon.
Definitely. I mean, like we were saying earlier, people are getting punished for missing outside zone 2. And the wheel drops in out zone 3 are really catching people out. So they're going to have to really push it onto the line and keep it there. As Artem gets a 75 for his second run, so 26th position. So only losing 0.5 of a point there. And unfortunately, he could be seeing battles. It's more than likely he will. So we've just got to see how it goes along. But now we have Lukasz in that Warthouse A90 with an 86 for his first score. So we've got Peter Widzek as his spotter, keeping an eye out. So see what he can do as he fires that A90 around. Nice initiation there as he comes around from outside zone 1 towards outside zone 2. Lovely stuff there. Much better as he comes around through to outside zone 3. Oh, he's right on the outside line there. Perfect through out zone 3 as he comes around now, transitioning across through the Manji. Through out zone 4. Look at this from Lucas. This is a man possessed in qualifying. Perfect through out zone 5 or inner clip 5. What a run from spotter to driver. He is a worthy driver of that car.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at this. Beautiful through outer zone 1 and 2 here. Right on the line the judges want him to be as he transitions back to 3 here. This is insane. How does he get to outer zone 3 that fast? He's in so early. Gets around outer zone 3 very cleanly. Something I noticed here is when he comes through this transition, look at how quick he loads up the car into outer zone 4 and just hooks it. Paints that white line black with the tires over the bump, not a problem. Doesn't change the attitude of the car at all. Such a well set up car through inner clip 5 and across the line. He is a man possessed, Brandon. He knows what he's doing. He's well able to drive that car. He deserves to be here. Let's see what the judges make of it. That is an incredible run.
Yep, definitely. I've just had a little update from someone that's keeping up with Thomas Magna. He had a clutch problem, so now it's fixed. So we will be seeing him in his second run. But what is Lucas going to get? 93 on the board, putting him at 3rd position. Amazing stuff there from Lucas. Obviously going from spotting for Peter Widzek to now being a driver of his car. What a way to debut yourself in your first competition. So now we have Timo Lipski, sorry, with a 90 on the board, Kian, in that carbon Kevlar A90.
Yeah, absolutely. Timur Lipski, 90 on the board already, knows he can... Oh, we've lost the wheel! Oh my God, we've lost the wheel off the back of the A90 Supra as he goes to initiate. I'm not sure what happened there, but oh my God, that is one of the first times I am seeing that. But oh my God, we will have to get a replay of that. That is not what you want. And he does have a 90 on the board, so I would say he is fairly safe, but that is not what you want to see on your second run.
Someone in the pits is getting fired. No, I think potentially the studs were just on their way out. They were just weak, and unfortunately, these things do happen. But as you can see here, when he clutch kicks, it goes. So clearly, either a couple of the wheel studs weren't tightened down properly, or weak wheel studs, and they just snapped.
Well,
very unlucky.
Over tightened, Brandon. This is another thing. But all we can do is speculate. Nobody's going to actually admit to that. So,
yeah. To be fair, though, the wheel was kind enough to sit there like a proper wheel and be on display. Very unfortunate way to finish finish qualifying, though. But obviously, he is secured with a 90, so he is more than likely going to be seeing battle action. But very interesting way to start second half of qualifying, that's for sure. That is
interesting to say the least. I don't think I have seen it. I've seen clips, but I haven't actually ever seen that one out myself live. But wow. I mean, we had an A90 last round lose a bonnet, and now we've had an A90 this round lose a wheel. What are we losing next round? Are we losing doors?
I don't know. Just the whole diff drops out. I'm not.
The whole rear axle just pops out from the back of a car. What are we saying here? And that is confirmed. It will be a 0 for Timur Lipski, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll see him back tomorrow for battle action. Hopefully there's no more damage to that car. Obviously, when that wheel pops off, the back of that car is probably dragging on the ground there a little bit. That can cause more damage. So obviously, we do not want to see more damage to the car other than the lug nuts of that beautiful A90 Supra, by the way. A full naked carbon Kevlar car is just beautiful. And we will have an interview coming up as we do remove the car from the track.
Łukasz Tasiemski z nami, cześć.
Siemano.
No jak się czujesz tutaj w Poznaniu? Wiemy, że nic nie wiemy, a presja jest, czy tak na chłodno?
Nie ma jakiejś takiej dużej presji, jest taka jak na każdych zawodach. Teraz się skupiamy na kwalifikacjach i dam z siebie wszystko. Mam nadzieję, że będę w top 3, może uda się wygrać. Zobaczymy jak dzisiaj forma, a jutro mamy finały.
Czyli co, jest robota do zrobienia po prostu?
Tak jest, postaram się ją wykonać najlepiej jak potrafię w danym momencie i sami zobaczymy w jakiej będę formie podczas pierwszego i drugiego przejazdu kwalifikacyjnego.
No dobrze, kochany, a jak się czujesz tutaj w Poznaniu na tym torze, bo różne są opinie co do niego.
Najlepszy mój tor, lubię jeździć na bombie, a tutaj mamy taki tor, że od początku do końca lecimy na pełnej bombie, nie odpuszczamy gazu, tylko czasami delikatne korekty. Jeżeli chcemy troszeczkę auto wciągnąć bądź wyrzucić na zewnątrz, by skorygować kąt, a tak to lecimy na pełnej bombie, wchodzimy ponad 100 na godzinę i ją utrzymujemy prawie do mety.
No tak, polecamy zobaczyć co działo się w zeszłym roku, bo można zobaczyć twój przejazd z Poznania prosto z kokpitu od ciebie.
Tak, w ogóle jest tak, że jak dzisiaj mi pójdzie pierwszy przejazd powyżej 95, to możliwe, że znowu zakomentuję.
A, no dobrze, to nie zdradzamy więcej. Łukasz Tasiemski, trzymamy kciuki, no i co, powodzenia, bo wszystko się w tym Poznaniu wyjaśni.
Au!
So a couple of words there from Łukasz Tasiemski. As you can see, we're just trying to get this crazy incident cleared out. One thing I've got to mention, that wheel had some speed as it was going off the track. So you can imagine how much RPM was being put through those rear wheels.
Yeah, and something I was thinking about there, like some guys are maybe dabbing the handbrake in that point of the track as well. So what could end up happening, he just goes to handbrake, and obviously the wheel is spinning so fast at that point that the lug nuts, like you said, Brendan, could have just failed. But Let's have a look at this in slow-mo here. This is wild. Goes to flick the car, and it's literally as he flicks the car.
Yep, I think it's the
wheel
clutch kick.
just gives way.
I think it was the clutch kick that did it. Just dumped the clutch. Wheel stood, said nah, and the wheel just dips off, goes for a beer. That is some speed though.
I can see a lot of support for our next driver who's coming up after this in the chat here. Can we see a lot of flags in chat maybe? Who knows? We definitely will when Mr. Benedict Sigurdsson does run. But
this is definitely not an easy recovery, purely because they've got to somewhat get the car up to get it onto the flatbed. It's unfortunate because, like in Japan, they have the low loader flatbeds that the bed comes completely off and lays on the floor. That would be the ideal thing to have, but unfortunately, you can't always have all the fancy stuff. Oh, that is. Oh, I'm guessing they've brought a dolly over to put the rear hub on, so that's good. Very unfortunate way for that to go, but
we are starting to get a new DMP version of it. Has LZ gone yet? It has Ben gone yet? So,
yep, that
is definitely a new thing. And to be honest, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Yep, honestly, I mean, we know Ben. His humor is ironic, but his driving is iconic. So we'll have to see what he does in his second run.
Oh, that was good. How long have you been sitting on that one? How long have you been sitting on that one?
Too long.
Longer than you'd like to admit, I presume.
Yes, I've been waiting for this moment.
You heard Ben was driving and you had to come up with a whole book full of lines to say, didn't you?
Yeah, he's just so handsome, you know? He's amazing. What is going on in the chat? My mum saw Ben drive once and now he's my stepdad. Guys, chill.
We see Bartosz Kostelowski's car, semi-pro driver, up in the air there, guys, making a few adjustments to the car.
Yep.
As
once again, though, having a really good
qualified first in his first qualifying run, but then ended up with a 0 in his second. So not the most ideal quality for Bartosz, but he'll be happy with getting first place anyway. And it's always nice to have that run in the bag anyway in your first run. And a lot of these guys in the pro class will be they'll be pushing for their second run to make up a few points to try get a few more points in the championship. But we can see there, really the underside, the engineering that goes into these cars is immense. And you can see the rally stands there. A lot of people starting to go with the rally stands for jacking up cars, and when they're working in the pit, they are quite safe. Josiah Fillets from FDF is even doing them.
I was literally about to mention them, and it's interesting how people are finding, like we in the UK we have Hayden Cruikshank who has a JZX100 Chaser that's on air jacks, and that is the most baller thing I've ever seen. But then the rally jacks are just so cool as well, because it's physically impossible to knock them over, which is really, really interesting, because with the air jacks you've got a point of failure, which is the hydraulics not work, like the jacks themselves failing or an air leak. Whereas the rally jacks, literally, pole in, happy days. It won't move. It's a really, really safe way of holding a car up, I do admit. But we do have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Peng himself, Benedict, at the line. And this is a man who has spent many, 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 many hours in the sim, both training with Kuba Puchonski and Team Ashura and his team Excite, all on extended physics. So he has been preparing for this moment. So here we go. His second run with a 63.5. He has got to improve. Big flick initiation coming in here. Big clutch kick. Lovely stuff so far. Coming around into outside zone 2. Lovely stuff as he transitions across to outside zone 3. This is looking good from Peng as he comes around now. Coming across. Look at this from Benedict as he comes around through the managing section. Oh, but he over rotates, but he somehow saves it, but he shuts it down. Oh, my heart. Oh. Benedict.
That is unfortunate. Benedict, you're giving us all a heart attack. As he initiates into outer zone 1 here and outer zone 2, it's very, very good here. It's unbelievable. You can see the line driving here from Ben is unbelievable. As he comes around here to outer zone 3, he just nails outer zone 3. Perfect amount of angle, perfect amount of speed coming through. And when he transitions here, he looks like he's very hooked up. He's ready to transition back. But when he transitions back here, it just looks like he overcooks it that tiniest bit. He realized he would have probably gone wide, and he just tries to over-angle it, tries to catch himself. As I can see the chat's going nuts here.
Absolutely gutted.
Yeah, so unfortunately for Ben,
to
that
be fair,
will be a 0.
In all fairness, it is in his nature to do backies, so it's very on brand. I'll give him that. But yeah, it's very unfortunate, but these things do happen. It is drifting, and it is a very intense motorsport. So these cars are getting pushed to their limit. But we have David Spotov now, our top qualifier with a 97. Can he top that? That is the question. If he tops this, this could be something. This would be the highest scoring run potentially in DMP. Maybe ever. I don't know. I need to have a look. But look at this going into outside zone 3. This is absolutely textbook from David Spotov as he comes around through the Maranchi section now in that Indigo Spotov Motorsport S15. Could have been a little bit more consistent through that outside zone, but that inner clip looking really good. Is going to be, I don't know if that will top the 97.
Yeah, so 97 points run on his first run as he comes through outer zone 1 and 2 there. As he transitions back here to outer zone 3. Gets into it, but kind of is a little bit... Look, I can't really see there. I think he might be half a wheel off the outside of that line there. It is very fluid though, so that he will get points for the fluidity on that. As he transitions back here to outer zone 4. Gets into it very nicely as he comes around to outer zone or inner clip 5, comes over the bump there. You can see the cars that are very, very well set up and a lot of time and effort put into them. Suspension wise, they are very nice coming over that bump. They rebound very nicely coming off it, and they don't really affect the car too much. So you can see that with the Spotov S15. You could see that with Visex A90 as well. So we'll be able to see that throughout each. And it's a 96.5 for David Spotov. That is 0.5 off his previous score. And his second score would have still topped qualifying, even if he didn't have the 97. So I think he's feeling good, Brandon.
I'd say so. If you're not feeling like you're locked in, then I don't know what's wrong with you at that point. Let's see what Mikhail can do in this 46 as he sends it down the main straight. Nice flick initiation. Could have been a bit deeper, which does set him up too shallow. Once again, he was struggling in his first run. Oh, but 4 wheels off. He is going full Lightning McQueen in out zone 3. Turn right to go left for sure. He's and he's DB'd a tyre. Very unlucky. Very, very sketchy. But unfortunately, that is that.
Unfortunate, yeah. So as he comes through here out of zone 1 and 2, doesn't really catch outer zone 2 at all. Gets around to outer zone 3 here, does do a very nice job, but gets onto the dirt. That just doesn't get on the power early enough, maybe. Loses the back bumper, and when he comes off here, the damage might already be done to the wheel maybe. When he transitions back, he does drop a wheel here again, and just there you can see the wheel go, and that's it. And he does try to reinitiate, maybe not knowing what's going on with the car, and he got very lucky here not to hit that concrete barrier. So unfortunate there, but that will be a 0 on the board.
Very unfortunate there. Obviously, we'll be getting a 0, so that will be him out of competition for this weekend. Unfortunately, it's just how it is, though. It looks like a video game with these drones, honestly, sometimes. I feel like I'm in AC or something. It is mental.
I've just seen someone in the chat say, it would have been unfair for Ben to compete, so he bowed out.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That is brilliant. So Konstantin Sharenko on the line here, the Trinity driver. Trinity Motorsport from Ukraine. These guys have been driving all over Europe this year as he initiates into outer zone 1. Just has a weird initiation there, misses outer zone 2.
Ooh.
Maybe having issues with this car here. Very shaky run from Konstantin Shirenko as he comes through the center section here, transitions back towards outer zone 4, just manages to grab it there as he comes over the bump into inner clip 5 and across the line. Very scrappy run there from Konstantin Shirenko, Brandon.
Yep, definitely. It's the Trinity cars don't seem to be having much luck this season. Obviously, there was earlier in the season there was a bit of upset for one of the drivers in the team, and he was very emotional. If you've seen it on the social media, but they're a great set of people, and I hope they continue to do what they love. We'll have to see what he scores, but obviously this has just not really got any. This doesn't have impact in it, unfortunately. And as you can see, it's just cutting into that inside line. There's so much grip in these cars, to the point where they're struggling to get them to do what they want. It's almost like the cars are driving them, and that is not what you want.
No, it is not. As we do go back to the line. Oh, and we do have a 0 there for Konstantin, so obviously that was unchaseable lead. As we go back to the line, we have Tim Heidrich sitting on the line, and that Mercedes SL all the way from Germany, that V12. Yes, that is a V12 in a drift car. Unbelievable. Like, the sound of this car, if you have the pleasure of hearing it in... Oh, and we do have a score for Konstantin. It's 49.5, not a 0. That still drops him into 33rd position, unfortunately. So, yeah, as I was saying, if you get the chance to hear this car in person, by all means, just sit and listen. This thing is unbelievable sounding as Tim is in the car, hyping himself up.
He wants this. He needs this. So here we go, Tim Heidrich really wanting to qualify this round. As he comes through now, ooh, just a bit shallow on outer zone 1. Kind of tickles at zone 2. Lots of angle and speed though. But it's just dirt dropping a bit too much, and unfortunately, this is not looking like it's going to be what he wanted. And I think this might be the end to his weekend. Very unfortunate for Tim. Obviously, he's such a lovely guy, and it's just not been his season.
Yeah, definitely hasn't been his season, unfortunately. The initiates kind of grabs outer zone 1, kind of grabs outer zone 2. As he comes around here to outer zone 3, he just gets it wrong, gets deep into outer zone 3, gets onto the dirt there, rips the bumper off the back of that Mercedes SL, transitions back through the center section of the track here, and when he comes back towards outer zone 4, it's kind of the tail of the season where it's just kind of just getting there and not really getting there at the same time. Comes over the bump with a bit of a straighten and then gets into outer zone 5 here and across the line. So there are good bits throughout the season that Tim can take away here from his driving and what he can work on in the off season, and maybe, who knows, maybe it's down to car setup and what he has to do to figure out that car. And it will be a 52.5, and that will leave him in 40th position, so we will not see him for battle action tomorrow, unfortunately. But hopefully we will see Tim back next season stronger than ever. So we do go back to line. We do have Mikhail Hamwi on the line.
Yep, so this is the Thanos Chin S14, as I call it, as he comes in now with a big clutch kick initiation, nice flick initiation like that. Does miss outside zone 2 though, maybe just a little bit of over angling, and he's having to left foot brake heavily to keep it in the zone. As you can see there, it's just not going the way he wanted as he comes around through out zone 4 towards inner clip 5, but does cut into the grass. It is crazy how much grip is in this track right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's have a look at this. So Mikhail initiates it's a decent initiation, but does kind of just miss out on outer zone 2 there. As he comes around to outer zone 3, dials on a lot of angle, has to get on that foot brake and nearly crab walk the car around outer zone 3, and then finally really realizes, you know, no, it's not worth it. I'll release the foot brake, just get back online for outer zone 4, and he does just that, gets back online for outer zone 4, gets in there perfectly as he comes around to inner clip 5 comes over the bump, doesn't stress about it too much, but then disaster strikes again and comes up onto the grass. So not exactly the run that Mikael Hamwi would have been hoping for, but the Swedish driver doing what he can out there to qualify. As we get a nice drone shot of the track here, we will wait for his score to drop in. And we do have, if we go back to the line, we should have Jacek Olnik, which we do, and Mikael Hamwi will sit in 42nd position with a 60.5. So it is an improvement, but unfortunately it is not enough. So we go back to the line. Jacek Olnik, Brandon.
Yep, I've just switched back to my chair setup because my back is killing from standing up. But obviously, this is going to be an interesting one because he's set on a 75.5, so he has to improve to get into the action tomorrow. But this E92 is definitely something to be, is a gorgeous car as he comes through now into the initiation. Bit of a hesitant initiation there, which does send him off on out of zone 2, unfortunately. And the same with out of zone 3, and I think this will be potentially a 0, as obviously, yeah, the car's just not playing ball. It's just not the run. And unfortunately, I think that will be the end of his weekend.
Yeah, so let's have a look at the replay here. Let's break it down as Jacek initiates into clip 1. A little bit of a late initiation there as he carries the momentum nicely out to clip 2, but carries a little bit wide as he transitions back here to outer zone 3. Again, just running that bit wide, and that unfortunately is 3 wheels off, and that will be a 0, I believe, according to the judges. So he will shut it down anyway and try to reinitiate, but at that stage, you're right, Brandon, I think that will be it. So he kind of realized that himself and just said, you know what, not worth it, the car is still working, let's not break the car at the end of the season, right at the last hurdle. But yeah, unfortunately for Jacek Olnik, I believe that will be a 0 popping up on the board, and it is. So that leaves him in 28th position. He's still in the top 32, but there are drivers with 0s and there are drivers that are below him that can still improve. So we will move it back to Krzysztof Pawlanka on the line, who is one of them drivers who is sitting on a 0 in that beautiful Sposob S15. He will come through the start line chicane, fires that Sposob S15 down into outer zone 1, brings it around to outer zone 2, just short of it as he flicks back towards outer zone 3, carries that momentum very well around outer zone 3 as he transitions through the center section here, transitions back to outer zone 4, brings it around very nicely across the bump, through inner clip 5 and across the line. Very nice run there for the Sposob Motorsport driver of Krzysztof Pawlanka, Brandon.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, good initiation, just once again coming too shallow into out of 2, and it's something's got to give.
It feels like they're sacrificing line on 2 to make sure they get 3, but then they're sacrificing the points on 2, and then it's kind of a knock-on domino effect, and it is very hard to get. If you get on that outside line from 1 to 2, you then have to work the car very hard to get it back out onto outer zone 3. So it could be a mix of things. Maybe they're sacrificing line to make sure that they're getting all them points in the big outside zone. So maybe there's a bit of thought process going on here with a lot of these drivers, but who knows? All we can do is speculate and see, but we will wait for the score to drop in for Krzysztof Pawlanka. As we wait here, we do have lining up as Mateusz Druzgin in that E46 underneath the modal start line there. Big thank you to our sponsors as we do get the score for Krzysztof Pawlanka. It is a 66.5, so unfortunately that will leave him outside of the top 32, and we will not see him in top 32 action tomorrow, but we will hopefully see him back next season.
For sure, Raheem, for sure. I need to get a new chair. This thing is so annoying. Every time I move, it squeaks. But we have Matthias Drusian on the line now with a 64. So once again, another driver that has to improve to get into battles. So let's see what he can do. Gorgeous looking E46 of that. Very hesitant on the initiation, but tries to get into outside zone 2, which he does. So can he make it into 3 correctly? Yes, he will. And that just shows how important that setup is for 2 to 3. As they come around now in towards out zone 4. Nicely done there. Maybe just a little bit of a wheel drop as he comes around to inner clip 5. Not too bad at all. Just the initiation not really having any flair or style.
Yeah, let's break this down here. So the initiation was very nice. A little bit hesitant maybe just before the line as he comes through outer zone 2. Does manage to grab it as he transitions back towards outer zone 3 here. And like you said, Brandon, not a huge amount of angle there. Of course, that will hurt his style score. The fluidity is there, but really you kind of have to have the mix of everything to get them points. So as he transitions back here to outer zone 4, drops the wheel there, but gets it back straight back on. It's quite impressive there how he managed to get that back on. And does manage to get into outer zone 5 there quite cleanly. So, or inner clip 5 rather. So we will see what happens with Matthias Jurgen and his points now in just a second when our scores do drop in from our judges. We will have to see, as lining up on the line will be Peter Stansek right after that in that 1 Series BMW. As we do get the score, it is 77.5, so it is an improvement. Leaves him in 22nd position overall. He will be happy that it's an improvement at least as we go back to the line.
I've got some quick news. I think Jim Yokes has just written off Dave Egan's Super at LZ World Tour. But you'll see the collision. The whole side door has just been wiped off. But yeah, enough about that. We got Peter Stanchak with an 85, so not a bad place to be in at E82. So we'll have to see what he can do with the rest of the run in the second half of qualifying. Not too shabby throughout our zone 2, looking really good. Much stronger than everyone else so far through there. But does almost pull out of our zone 3, but manages to keep it in there. Transitioning through, really cool looking livery on the side of this car, by the way, as it comes around and through into inner clip 5. Amazing run. You know what? The livery kind of reminds me of one of those dark grey, like dark black and gold marble tables that you get in restaurants.
Yeah, it does. It's very, very nice livery, but let's have a look and break this down. Clip 1, clip 2, nothing really much to talk about there. Does manage to grab them, but with clip 3 here, just a little bit off where he'd like to be, kind of a bit inside really as he comes through the center section here, transitions back to outer zone 4. Does do a good job in collecting that zone as he works that car down the track towards inner clip 5. Does manage to grab that zone quite nicely there as well, so he will pick up points for that. So we will see what the judges think of this and really what kind of scores we're looking at here for the second half of this qualifying session. We're kind of starting to get a good idea of what the judges are really looking for in the second half and how they want people to improve their scores. So the score does drop in and it's an 89 on the board for Peter Stansek. 8th position overall for him. He will be happy with that. As we go back to the line, we have Christoph Kojkars on the line in a BMW F22 full carbon fiber.
Apparently the LZ World Tour incident was hours ago and it's been fixed. So, whoops. Let's see what he can do in this F22 though. As he leaves the line, that is if it is an F22. Is it another E46 with an F22 body kit? Oh, but very hesitant initiation there. And it does get him into out of zone 2, but he completely sacrifices 1 by just essentially driving through it. As he comes around out of zone 3, not looking too bad. Oh, getting very close to the outside there. But manages to get into 4 very nicely as he comes around now in towards inner clip 5 and just cuts over it. So it's going to be an interesting one to judge.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's have a look. Let's see, can we have a guess here of what's going to happen? So does initiate nicely through outer zone 1 and 2 here. Does collect outer zone 2 very, very cleanly. As he transitions back towards outer zone 3 here, he does get into outer zone 3 and manages to kind of keep it on the same line. Doesn't really change his line too much. Does get out nice and wide in that zone as he comes through the center section here and transitions back to outer zone 4. we see that he does, again, collect that zone quite cleanly. He's not painting the white line black or anything, but he is collecting the zones very fluidly. And the judges do tend to like that fluidity. When you're making these corrections to try get to zones and stuff like that, they don't really like to see all those corrections. It looks very jerky, it doesn't look smooth, and it's not ideal. So the judges, I think, will really enjoy that run. He will be scored quite strongly for that, as we do wait for that score to drop in. And it does drop in, and it's a 0. Interesting. What did we miss, Brandon?
I have no clue.
What did we miss on that?
Clearly there was something that the judges didn't like, and once again we're just commentators. So Cristiano Salmir at the line, 86.5 to start with, so let's see what we can do with the second run. Lots of speed going into that initiation as it comes around into our zone 2. Lovely for our zone 2, just almost catching the dirt there as it comes around into our zone 3. Definitely making the most of the track. Coming around now in towards that zone 4, not too bad through there. A little bit of a bump, just letting the car settle. Oh, and it picks up a wheel as it goes through into clip 5 and across the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's break this down here. So initiating into clip 1 very nicely. Nice, clean initiation as he comes and carries the momentum around to outer zone 2 here. Transitions back towards outer zone 3, and right here he's just kind of in midline the full way around outer zone 3 until the last second here. He does manage to get it out to the wider part of the section. When he transitions back through the center section here towards outer zone 4, manages to collect that mid as well. Kind of a beeline around there as he works that car down into the inner clip here on the track, 5th zone, and across the line he goes. So we will see what the judges have to say about it. I'm getting very confused with how the judges are starting to score these, because so I am hearing that previous run where we did have the 0, he was driving straight after initiation, so that is why there was a 0 there, and it's an 84 on the board for Cristian Salmir, drops him into 12th position. So something we didn't catch, Brandon, was
we're in the moment. We're excited. We're just having fun. Like we're commentators. We're very smooth-brained in some ways. So I'd love to see though as Aliski Holivnia
for yourself.
Holivnia has got a bit to work on here. Bit of a hesitant on the initiation, but gets out of zone 2 perfect. As it comes around out into zone 3, this is looking very smooth. Lots of left foot breakdown coming through out of zone 3. As it comes around now through the middle section, nice through 4, a little bit of a dab out from the high brake just to settle the car. As it comes around in a clip 5, that's a very tidy run. Obviously, it's just out of zone 1 or out of clip 1. This is where it's a bit on the edge of, did he initiate and get onto angle properly in time? Yes, just very shallow on the angle. So we'll have to see what the judges think.
It's something that we're starting to see with a lot of drivers, Brandon, is that kind of faint initiation, but obviously it's biting a couple of people. But we can see here Alex Holivnia doing not a bad job here through outer zone 3 as he transitions back towards the center section here and transitions back towards outer zone 4. Brings it nicely through that section over the bump here. You can see the car jumping there as he goes down and noses that CN6 chassis towards the inner clip. So we will see what the judges make of that one.
For sure. I mean,
to drop in.
Honestly, it's like playing bingo. You never know what you're going to get.
I need some tuition from David Callas. I think I'm going to get him to
Ooh. But a 91 for putting him in 5th position. So Holivnia getting a nice score there to finish off qualifying for himself. So lovely stuff on that. Yeah, it's just what a way to come around. But we have Dariusz Fabishak. Oh god, I can't do English. Dariusz Fabishak in that Barra S14 with a 0 on the board so far. So once again, he has got to really push hard As I did hear a little backfire, either that or it was the sequential. Little handbrake dab initiation. But of course, it just didn't set him up correctly. 4 out of 2. And unfortunately, he is going to over-rotate. Which unfortunately does mean Dariusz Fabistak is on a 0-0. Very unfortunate there. I'm gutted because the Barra is a really, really cool engine.
Yeah, like we've seen it here even in Ireland, a lot of people trying to figure out the Barra engine, the likes of Charlie Geary, who's competing in the King of Ireland event here today, who's running a Barra in an E36 wagon. But Darius, these guys are trying to develop that engine at ANZ Racing for quite a while here and just getting it wrong there, so he will not make it into top 32 action tomorrow, following his first run being a 0 as well as his second. So unfortunately for that will be a 0-0 for the Polish driver.
He is smiling, that's all that matters. Probably not in his actual helmet, but at least he's smiling on the stream.
He's smiling in the picture.
Yeah, exactly. I do like that they're animated, like their little videos. But we've got Maciusz Fial now in 86 with a 61.5 on the first run. So once again, another driver going to have to push hard. So we'll have to see as it's the CN6 chassis, ain't it, that you were saying it's called?
Yep.
So, well, but look at this, just coming in way too shallow and going way too hard. Very, very scary, and he just manages to hold it together. At this point, it's the question of, yeah, like fair enough. He actually kept it going. Like, look at the way
that GR Yaris a go.
Look at the way it was squatting around that last corner. Absolutely.
Yeah,
insane.
the rake. You can see the setup of that car. It's raked back a lot. So I wonder what the thought process behind that is. Is it to promote grip? Because that car looks like it's seriously gripped up there, and you can see he grabs that handbrake to try stave it a little bit, but it looks like he will be spraying a couple of spectators with some dirt there as he gets back on track. Does manage to transition fairly perfectly here through the center section, I will add. But as he comes around to outer zone 4 here, does it quite nicely. The rest of the run is actually okay, but it's just that second clip and that third outside zone is just a killer for Mateusz Fial, unfortunately.
Do you know what? With the shape of the GT86 and the colour, when he rode the dirt like that, it looked like Light McQueen when he was learning to drive on the dirt.
Have you watched Cars recently? You've quoted Cars twice.
Maybe.
Possibly, maybe.
Don't know what you're on about.
We do go back to the line here. We have one of our heavy hitters, one of the guys who wants to shake up the championship here. It's Michał Reichardt, the man who competed in Drift Masters for a number of years, the man from the Czech Republic, 1,100 horsepower in that BMW E36, sitting on a 95.5 right now. He will leave the line through the start line chicane. He will light the back tyres of that E36 up and flicks entry into outer zone 1, collects it very nicely, misses outer zone 2 as he flicks back towards outer zone 3, puts the power down and starts to straighten out, shallow off angle, drops wheels there, flicks back through the centre section around to outer zone 4, drops wheels again, coming through outer zone 4 and overcooks it and
gutted.
Unfortunately, I believe that will be a 0. A driver that is unbelievable, having just a little bit of a nightmare at the moment with that car. Unfortunately, you can see here how kind of staggered it is. It's very, very unfortunate for Michał Reichardt, but the speed of that car, Brandon, is unbelievable how fast that car is.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see the drones keeping up with it, so it's clearly not that fast.
Don't go fast, man.
They are quick. They are very quick. But as you can see, this is just where it all goes wrong. And just gets stuck in the marbles, and unfortunately that is all she wrote for that run, unfortunately, as it was before the finish line, so that possibly will be a 0.
We will see him in battle action tomorrow now anyway. I think 95.5 in his first run. I think he's fairly safe with that score, so
yeah, I'd say so.
I would say he's probably fairly good there in second position, as he does get the 0 confirmed for that. As we move it back to the line, we will have Krzysztof Jozwiak on the line in the BMW F22, Brandon.
So this one's going to be very, very interesting. as I mean, that car's cool. It's so cool. We're gonna have to see what he can do with this run. Obviously, one of the lower horsepower cars on the pro grid. So we'll see what he can do with it, with that M2. Sounds absolutely mean though, as it initiates in. Oh, just overcooking it almost, getting very sketchy as it comes around into outer zone 2, into outer zone 3 now. It does fall out of outer zone 3. These cars are all gripped up to the max, and I don't think they are able to handle them at this point as he comes around the last corner with such speed. Absolutely mental.
Absolutely. Krzysztof Jodrziak there doing an incredible kind of run to just try make anything work. It does manage to collect clip 2 there as he transitions back here to outer zone 3. Does just manage to get out of zone 3, has to leave it very, very early. Does try to get back out there, sets himself up well for this center section, transitions nicely to get back to outer zone 4, select that line and collect that zone as he comes across the bump here and down towards inner clip 5. Does what he can with the mistakes that were made, and to be honest, the recovery was very, very good. And unfortunately, I think we will see a low enough score for that. Those points on that outer zone 3 are very, very high. There's a lot of points to grab there.
For sure. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult. And it just seems to be that the track conditions are increasingly harder and harder as we go through. So we're going to have to see where that ends up for the rest of qualifying as we wait on the score there for that run. Obviously, judges having to make sure they check everything properly, because if they don't, it's not going to be fair. So we'll have to see what they come up with for this run. Yes, definitely just looking in. And it's a 72, which unfortunately puts him in 33rd. So he's just mixed out on top 32 action tomorrow. And yes, definitely looking in the chat, yes, the track is extremely, extremely grippy. And there's a Labubu on the front of that Boss S14, which means the car unfortunately has to crash front arm to make my day. I have a massive thing against Labubus, but Magic wanting to get a better score, obviously with a 0 in the first run, so we'll have to see what he can do with his second as we just wait our start line marshal to get things kicked off. As you can see there, I think we do have someone doing a cool down lap. It's on track, so we're just waiting on that to finish. I've got to say, Magic looking very experienced from the looks of his photo. It's definitely been around for some time now. Been around for some time, but just showing that you know, you can still hang. That being said, there's some people my age, some people who are 26 that look like they're 50, so you know, you never know these days. As we go in now in that Boss S14 with the Labubu on front, kill it with fire. We go from outer zone 1 to outer zone 2, not looking too bad as he comes around now into outer zone 3. Ooh, a little bit a lot of left foot brake, trying to keep it in there, but it does a good job of getting it around as it comes around now into outer zone 4, looking way better this time as it comes across around into inner clip 5, and good stuff coming around, and that will be a score on the board. Whether it'll be high enough or not, we'll see.
Absolutely. So we will see what the scores drop in. So let's break down the run really quick, as Magic does a very tidy job from initiation, and when he gets into outer zone 3 here, he does actually manage to stay on that line there. I know you can probably see that trailing wheel is not really in the zone, but the leading wheel is, so that is okay as he transitions through that center section here, grabs 4 very, very nicely and runs that wide line. You can see jumping over that bump there and through inner clip 5 and across the line, doing a very tidy job, isn't Magic? As we wait for the judges to drop in their scores, we will see what they made of that one.
Definitely.
You can
And
see if
then
you're in
say-
attendance there, do go and have a look at the paddock area there where we have our car show and all our trade stands and everything. Go support our sponsors. They make this championship happen. We could not do it without them. So big shout out to all the sponsors who have supported us this season. We could not do it without them. As the score drops in, and it's an 87 for Maciej Jarkovic, 13th position. He'll be happy with that. I think he will be fairly safe with that until the end of qualifying, Brandon.
Yep, definitely. It's good to see that someone coming from a 0 becomes a hero and gets into top 32 action, with Peter Jutassi now with the 93, the Hungarian driver, wanting to get even higher in quali. He wants to try and take that top spot in that F22, and it sounds absolutely insane as he initiates from out of zone 1, looking very nice through out of zone 2, nice and committed as he comes around now in towards out of zone 3, a little bit shallow to start with. Can he get deep in there? Yes, he can, as he comes around through the Magi section, transitioning across, flicking the car across into out of zone 4. Does a good job of keeping it there, but could have been a bit deeper as he comes through inner clip 5, as he picks up a wheel and across the line. So we're going to have a quick look at the replay for this. Obviously, you can see the car just looking absolutely insane, sounding insane, but his driving also matches with it. You can see a little bit of left foot brake as he was coming through out of 2 just to get the car settled. And as you can see here, as he comes through out of zone 3, he has to start letting the car float backwards to try and get it in to the right space where the judges want him. And now he comes through the middle section. Really nice transitions as he lets the car float through out of zone 4. Maybe the car grips up a little bit too much and pulls out a bit early, but he does a good job of not going inside. And look at the way the front wheel, just the trailer wheel, picks up. That is something else. So we'll have to see what that scores from our judges as we await on that. So it is an 86.5. So Peter Jutassi not getting a higher score than his previous run. So, but he's solidified into the top 32 for tomorrow. So we'll have to see what happens with our next driver.
Yeah, and on the line is Joachim Vaggaard in that BMW M4, the biggest car in the grid, I would hazard a guess to say. You can see that full carbon fiber M4 kit that he has on that is making 820 horsepower there as he is sitting on a 66-point run from his first run. Let's see, can he improve that score as he initiates into outer zone 1, brings it out around to outer zone 2, does manage to collect that clip, 110 kilometers an hour on the gun there as he's dropping wheels around outer zone 3, comes back to the center section, transitions back to outer zone 4, just about grabs that as he comes down, works the M4 down into inner clip 5, and across the line he goes, Brandon.
Not too shabby at all. Once again, that M4 showing that is a true boat and just floating everywhere. Trying to pedal that car around the best to his ability. As you can see, that just not being able to get it into outer zone 2 as nicely as he could have, but manages to get it around towards outer zone 3, as you can see that, but he does go too deep. So he needs to row his boat all the way back in towards the middle there as he comes back around towards outer zone 4. And just once again, you can see how little pressure is in those rear tires. You can see how flat they are at the rear, and that's where they're trying to get the grip from as he comes across the line. So we are just going to be waiting for a score for that run. Obviously, we are just gotta see what the judges think of that one, because obviously there's a lot to unpack on that run. Quite a few mistakes and a couple of good moments there in that run, so we'll have to see what they think about that. But it's good to see an M4 competing.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to see the kind of weirder cars that we don't really get to see in drifting too often out on a professional drift circuit, competing against some of the best in Europe, and we indeed some of the best in the world. As we do go back to the line, we've Karolina Pilarczyk there on the line in that V8 S15 ready to go, playing doing some sparring in our car, blows us some kisses gives a thumbs up, gets ready to go, selects first gear, waits for the lights to go green. They go green. She leaves the line through the start line chicane. She goes as she pedals at F15 down towards big flick here. Through outer zone 1, through outer zone 2, collects both very, very nicely as she makes her way towards outer zone 3, collects that very nicely as well. On a very nice line here is Carolina Pirlashek as she transitions back towards outer zone 4, collects that very nicely too. She comes over the bump, unsettles the car a little bit through inner clip 5 and across the line. Very, very tidy run there. Maybe just dropping wheels around outer zone 3, but not too shabby at all, Brandon.
Definitely not. Carolina definitely showing her true driving ability in the past 2 rounds so far. Obviously, trying to get that car to float out. You can see that even with the shallow angle, it's just struggled to pull in towards the start of the zone. But as she got towards the end, she did drop a wheel. So there are places where there will be deductions. So we'll have to see how serious it is going forward. As you can see there, going throughout zone 4, not too shabby whatsoever. But Carolina definitely pushing the car into ways it shouldn't be pushed, to be honest. These cars, they may be built for it, but they're not. Cars are not designed to be pushed like this. So it's impressive to see what they can do. As we have, I'm pretty sure that's Christian Erlendsson at the line in that BRZ. I can see a go-kart at the back again.
All right.
So we've got another halftime show coming up. So we're just waiting on that score from Carolina. As you can see there, all of the branding and our emergency crews are standing by. But it's an 88 for run 2 for Carolina, with putting her in 11th position. So really, really good stuff there. So congratulations to her. We'll be seeing her in the top 32 tomorrow as we go back to the line. As you can see, that all of the inflatables looking so cool. But there you go. Proof that he's been in Drift Masters during the 2023 season. The scrutineering sheet on the side of his car. And Christian Erlendsson with an 86.5 for his first run. So we'll have to see what he can do with 1,038 horsepower on that engine setup. So here we go, initiating into the first outside zone. Not looking too bad. A lovely angle, big angle, almost dropping tyres there. Does drop tyres. Going through outside zone 3. He's trying to push the limits of the track, and somehow he has not overcooked it yet. I don't want to curse him, but as he comes around through out zone 4, does struggle to. He's kind of fighting with the car as he comes across through inner clip 5. Definitely was a bit of a scatty run, I won't lie.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's have a look at this. Christian Erlendsson, a man who's been around for a number of years, does manage to collect outer zone 2, but then does drop a wheel there. You can see the dirt being thrown up from the drone cam there as he works his way around outer zone 3. Does drop wheels there as well again, unfortunately, as he does get back online, gets the car settled, transitions once, transitions twice, back towards outer zone 4, brings it nicely through outer zone 4 over the little bump here. Has to kind of correct the car there as it wasn't going on to angle that he wanted, but does get it across inner zone 5 and across the line. Does Christian Erlendsson, as we wait for the judges to drop in their scores for that run. Christian will be waiting very patiently to see what is coming on there, as we do have our halftime show coming up, as we do get a score for Christian, and it is a 76.5, so not an improvement on his first run of an 86.5, but 16th position overall for him, so he will be okay sitting on that, as we do have Ben Collins, the Stig from Top Gear, doing a passenger spin here in this beautiful Ferrari.
Just
He's just a Stig. Hello, Stig.
What an icon.
Well,
That is an honor. Yeah, that's true. I've just seen a 911 GT3 at the back. Endurance car. An icon like Ben Collins, obviously, is very decorated in 24-hour Le Mans, other grip racing series. Very, very talented grip driver, and it is an honor to have such a personality here at DMP. Oh, don't drop in there. He's going hard this time. Someone's clearly told him, just don't be gentle. Just go for it. But amazing stuff to see him here, and it's very strange considering he's a British icon at that, a Polish championship. That's what gets me, and it makes me very proud, very patriotic in some way on my own end. But obviously, it's nice to see talent from my own country coming to amazing places like Poland. And yeah, it's something else. But I think Kamil is going to be having another interview with him just now. So we'll get a couple of words from Ben Collins, the Stig.
So, Stig, once again Ferrari?
I love this car. It's great. It's fast. I'm doing different line to the drift guys. I'm trying to get around as fast as I can. So it's a different experience, but anyone that wants to come and join me can step up and I'll take them round.
No dobrze, zapytałem Stiga, dlaczego po raz kolejny w Ferrari i odpowiedział, że no po prostu kocha to auto, no ale że to na razie tylko takie przejazdowe okrążenie i każdy, kto chce, może do niego dołączyć. So what they have to do to drive with you?
Well, we're bidding in auctions for Fun and Drive, so we're raising money for the ambulance for Poland. So come and join us. I think, Tomek, we'll be auctioning the prize for how many people can come? As many. Come and bid, come and shout at the auction and bag a ride with me. We'll be over in the VIP tent, so anybody that wants to get involved, just come across.
Więc jak słyszeliście, można licytować przejazdy ze Stigiem. Będą się tutaj kręcić ludzie z fundacji, która zbiera hajs na karetki do zakupu ich w Polsce. So, having fun still?
I love it. It's great. I mean, how could you not? The weather's fantastic. It's great to have such a passionate crowd, and I love watching these guys do what they do. It's incredible. We've got, I think there's a rally driver here, though. I saw the guy on the dirt. I saw the little Pelican doing his stuff. It's really inspirational. So it's a great piece of motorsport for Poland.
So I heard that the people on the crowd love when you drive. So maybe we'll wait for them. So
100%. Thank you, guys. Great to see you all in Polska. See you out there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What an icon. What an icon, Ben Collins. And it's nice to see Kamil going around and translating everything into Polish for everyone. But look at this, little man, once again, from the rally car to the go-kart. This is cool. So you got Alexander Pelikanski. I really hope I said that right. But this little man is going, I can imagine him doing some crazy stuff as he drove that rally car like it was nothing. So I can only imagine what he'd be like in a little go-kart like this. I mean, these aren't exactly slow little go-karts, to be honest. The power to weight in them is incredible. And as you can see now, he's doing the full start-like procedure. And here we go. Alexander is going to be setting off in the go-kart. And this is one thing I love about DMP. We love to show off different motorsports, different bits of motor culture, and give people a chance to have fun. This is what it's all about. Last round we had drifting go-karts going around the track, and now we've got a straight up time attack of this go-kart, which is so cool. And it is not exactly an easy ride. Like, it is a rough ride, as you can see there, but it's not a slow thing at all. Like, look at the way he's taking the corners. He is flying. Really cool to see. And I do believe he's going to go for a second lap around. Like, that thing is absolutely hauling as he gives a wave to the crowd. This is a young talent that is ready to take the racing field by storm, and does a little slide there. And I do believe we're getting a little oh no, we got it. Oh, what's going on here? What's he running to? What's going on here? Oh, he's gonna get straight into the drift car. Okay. What is going on? He's just doing everything. So he's going from drift. He's gone from a what? My mind is blown. So we've gone from go-kart to rally car to drift car. He's doing everything.
Yeah, this young man is very talented, as you can see. Like, but this is something that you can see. Like, Poland is producing some of the best motorsport talent in the world, and we can see that. Like right now, look at what we have. We have Tor Poznań, we have Peter Vistik, we have young Daniel or young Pelikanski here. Alexander Pelikanski, look at this man, how he can pilot that car at such a young age is incredible, and mad respect to his parents for letting him do this. Fair play to him.
Honestly.
That is unbelievable, and I just hope he doesn't kick the go-kart at the end of the track there, because that is still parked there.
If he does donuts around the go-kart, I will
surely
be...
he will. That would be incredible. But just getting onto the dirt there.
He's going to drive a helicopter after this.
If you guys...
He's gonna do donuts around the go-kart. Go on, go. Oh, that's what it's all about. We love to see it. Oh, what a lad! Almost lost my composure there, but what is this? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it's all about. Welcome to DMP, where nothing is boring, it is all fun. And wow, I'm smiling ear to ear right now. I love it. I love everything about this. This is what it's all about. We're going to get a short little interview with Kamil.
Już wiem, że muszę klęknąć.
Dawaj kask. Kominiarka. Dawaj.
Olek, młody pelikan z nami. Cześć jeszcze raz, bo już żeśmy się dzisiaj widzieli.
Witam serdecznie.
Drodzy Państwo, no ja muszę zdradzić 11 lat w tym roku, tak?
Tak, w tym roku skończyłem 11 lat.
4 lata za kółkiem.
Tak, samochodem jeżdżę 4 lata, a go-kardem mam już przejechane 7 sezonów.
7 sezonów w go-karcie, a w tym roku podwójna korona. Trzeba się tym chwalić.
Tak, w tym sezonie zdobyłem podwójnego mistrza Polski, zdobyłem tytuł mistrza Rock Cup Poland i tytuł mistrza kartingowych Mistrzostw Polski, które też odbywały się na tym torze.
No dobra, jak radzisz sobie w go-karcie widzieliśmy, ale z technicznej sprawy, jak to sięgasz do pedałów w tym samochodzie?
Mamy wszystko przerobione pod mój wzrost, mamy przedłużone na takich budowlanych drutach, prętach pedal box, i te druty są przyczepione właśnie do pedałów. Kierownica jest normalnie przymocowana, ale fotel jest bardzo blisko, fotel jest malutki na zamówienie i pod fotelem mamy specjalne szyny, które są podniesione i są dosyć wysoko.
Chciałem Cię zapytać, bo różnie kierowcy mają. Jedni wiedzą wszystko o swoich autach, inni wręcz przeciwnie, wiedzą jak się jeździ, ale domyślam się, że Ty wszystko wiesz o tych samochodach.
Tak, mam 4 samochody, ale o każdym wiem dosłownie wszystko.
No dobrze, życzymy powodzenia i mamy nadzieję, że za kilka lat zobaczymy się w Driftingowych Mistrzostwach Polski. Dzięki.
Dziękuję bardzo.
What a character. And I do believe he's going to climb on the roof to wave to people. Wow. There you go. This right here is the future of all of motorsport. Is this next generation who are so dedicated, so passionate, and also obviously I'm not a native Polish speaker, but his mannerisms, his interview mannerisms is incredible for his age, and he has definitely got the right mindset to be in motorsport. So I'm very excited to see what this young man can do in the future, as it seems to be a lot of young drivers are coming into the scene now, as we have this Porsche 911 GT3, I do believe, is a endurance car. Crazy piece of kit. As we just wait for them to leave the line. Look at that. Oh yeah, so it's a GT3 Cup. So this is the race car. It is the race car of the 911 GT3. That is... Yeah, like, I would love to have one of them. Oh, listen to that. I'm just going to be quiet for a second so we can listen to it.
How incredible is that? That is absolutely brilliant. And if you are in attendance there in Poznań, do be sure to head over to the VIP area, get yourself a ride along with the Stig, and support the National Ambulance Service of Poland. I think that's great as well, Brendan. We've gotten to a stage in drifting where we can fundraise for ambulances in a country. That is the stage we are at now in drifting. It is so incredible, from where we started in a couple of guys building cars in their sheds to what we have now, which is a halftime show of a Porsche GT3 Cup going around showing off how cool this is. Like, this is a definitely €500,000 worth of a car here just being thrown around this small track in Poznan. So
And he
I'm
is
delighted
not
to be
being
a part of this.
gentle.
This is unbelievable. He is not being gentle. He's hitting them curbs very hard.
What I love as well is the fact that a lot of governing bodies do not recognise drifting as a legitimate motorsport.
Well, the
Which
FIA are starting
baffles
to,
me.
so hopefully we do start to see, and he'll do some donuts for he. And that's $3,000 gone in tires.
Yep, I'm gonna guess he runs Pirellis on that,
They're
or
Michelin's.
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 Oh yeah, I see. Jesus.
Doesn't matter what they are; they're expensive tires.
Yes, because they are massive tyres at that. And then you've got Thomas Magnier who sat there waiting, just staring down the GT3 Cup.
And Thomas Magnier, who had a clutch issue earlier on in qualifying, has that car sorted out now, so he will be going out for a one and done qualifying. Hopefully he is able to get through. He had a very good last round as well, and right behind him on the rear bumper is Alexandra Fiau trying to push him onto the track there.
Timur with us, hi.
Hello.
So I have a feeling that you feel really comfortable on the first drive. What happened in the second one?
I cannot really tell you anything, just the studs. It's nobody's fault, not mine, not the team's. Just on the initiation, when I put in fourth gear, the studs just cut, actually two of them, and then just the wheel flew off.
So the two of them, it's not so often to happen, but 90 points is in the first run. I have a feeling that you have some trick for this track.
I think I do. I feel quite comfortable. You never know, but for now I feel quite comfortable. So we'll fix the car, and I was actually ready to put on hopefully a really good run, but yeah, things happen, and we push tomorrow.
But you have a feeling that it will go the same way when you'll go in pairs?
Hopefully. I mean, I'm feeling good, so let's see how it goes tomorrow. I don't know. I cannot guarantee anything.
Okay, but how about Poznań? This track, in one hand, very technical. In the second one, very fast. It's the golden combination for the best drifting track.
You know what? Yes, I actually love the track. To be fair, like this season, I drove a lot of tracks that I didn't quite enjoy, but this feels like a breath of fresh air. I actually really enjoy it, and it's very nice. It suits the car also quite well, what we have set up.
Okay, so fingers crossed and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks.
So there we go. We have cars starting to grid back up on track here to get started on the second half of qualifying. So our last quarter of qualifying coming through here now, as we are just finished up with our halftime show. Big thank you to the person that's in the chat trying to translate as fast as he can there for the Polish to English. Thank you very much. That is actually quite a large help. So that 11-year-old, for anyone who missed it, he has 4 cars. He's 11. He has 4 champion titles. And he's been go-karting for 7 years. That is wild. That is nuts. To be at 11 years of age to have that kind of success is nuts. Someone in the chat called him Driftstappen, and do you know what? Yeah, Project Driftstappen is a go with that young man. So we will move it along to our last bit of qualifying here. I believe we will be starting with Lukas Wilczek. And as we wait for to make sure the track is clear and make sure the track is ready for our drivers. Brandon, how are you feeling so far this qualifying session? It's been nuts so far.
Łukasz Kaliszewski, Kuba Więcek. Cześć chłopaki.
Cześć.
Dzień dobry. No właśnie, i teraz sytuacja jest dosyć skomplikowana, bo zazwyczaj gdy z wami rozmawiają, to jeden jest spoterem, drugi jest kierowcą, ale tu sprawy się zamieniły, ale w sumie w wyniku to trochę nie widać.
No, zazwyczaj jest inaczej, bo ze mną nie rozmawiają po prostu. Z Piotrem rozmawiałem, ja mu tylko podpowiadam na radiu, ale tak, no zadowolony.
To poczekaj, może pominiemy po prostu, tak Piotrek będzie stał i będziesz tutaj teraz personą, która będzie opowiadać o tym wszystkim, co się wydarzyło podczas twoich 2 przejazdów, bo gdyby to był jeden perfekcyjny przejazd, ale one były 2 praktycznie od linijki rysowane. To ten spotter pewno też tak dobrze tam podpowiadał, nie gadaj.
No to szkoda, że nie sędziowałeś, bo jakbyś sędziował, to bym był wyżej, widzisz. Ale tak to nie, one tam miały trochę niedociągnięć, mój spotter mi powiedział, że było tam trochę niedociągnięć i poprawiłem po pierwszym i na drugim, no już mówię, już jakby tą 4. tutaj zwłaszcza jakoś starałem się bliżej pojechać, się udało.
No dobrze, Piotrek, powiedz mi, czy to też tak wygląda, jak jesteś z drugiej strony, bo domyślam się, że ta współpraca jest taka słodko-gorzko, a czasem ostra i czasem ten spotter musi być takim, wiesz, takim wiertełkiem i szpileczką, która tam niby jest wszystko dobrze, ale trzeba tam czasem podostrzyć. Rozumiem, że tutaj też tak było, że trochę było słodkich rzeczy, ale czasem też trzeba coś dodać od siebie.
Naprawdę było bardzo dobrze. Muszę podsumować, że jak na pierwszy występ Łukasza, pierwszy raz w zawodach w pełni profesjonalnych, w nowym dla niego samochodzie na zawodach, sam wspominał, że jak tylko pierwszy raz wyjechał na trasę, to od razu łezka mu się wokół zakręciła, także emocje dla niego były ogromne. Ja tak naprawdę byłem tylko na słuchawce po to, żeby mu przekazać, że jest naprawdę dobrze i potwierdzić to, co on czuje z kabiny, także naprawdę gratulacje dla Łukasza i co? I powodzenia na jutro.
Czyli co, nie tylko technika, nie tylko to, co robicie razem, gdy jeździcie, ale też mental został przejęty mistrzowski.
Przejęty to nie, jakby jeszcze stres oczywiście mnie zjadł na tym pierwszym przejeździe i tam głównie w kolejce jakby oczekując, tam najgorzej było w sumie, ale jak już był start i ruszyło się z kreski, to już było lepiej, a na drugim no to już też Piotrek wprowadził mnie w taki spokój, że prawdopodobnie jestem jutro w parach, więc mogę się trochę tam pobawić powiedzmy w tym drugim i poeksperymentować i w sumie to tylko poprawiłem to, co miałem, co mi powiedział i tyle.
Ja tylko podpowiem, że nie mówiłem, że prawdopodobnie, tylko że jesteś, na pewno. Także możesz jechać i się bawić. No i tak było i był naprawdę fenomenalny przejazd. Wszyscy mega gratulują Łukaszowi i zasługuje na to, bo naprawdę to, co pokazał w swoim pierwszym występie, to dla mnie naprawdę czapki z głów.
No dobrze, ale czy jeszcze będzie taka duża odprawa o jeździe w parach? Bo jak rozumiem, skoro to są pierwsze zawody, oczywiście to, co jeździcie trenując to jedno, no ale zawody rządzą się swoimi prawami, więc domyślam się, że jeszcze gruba odprawa dzisiaj wieczorem przed tym, co czeka Was jutro, będzie grana.
Nie możemy nic powiedzieć.
Proszę o komentarz.
O, nie mogę nic powiedzieć.
Czyli co, jeździmy na limicie, z uśmiechami na twarzy, dobrze się bawimy, ale no, rozumiem, że jak się jedzie taką nitkę, to no, gdzieś myśli się o tym, żeby no, zawędrować jak najwyżej.
No to oczywiście to chciałoby się, ale no na razie staram się jechać powtarzalnie, nie popełniać jakichś większych błędów i po prostu liczyć, że ten z przodu też będzie tak jakby jechał no równo i będzie można jakoś w miarę kleić te pary. Zobaczymy oczywiście i tyle. Jutro na treningach się okaże.
No dobrze, Łukaszowi nie wypada, ale Ciebie mogę zapytać, jakie są predykcje w takim razie tutaj pierwszego startu, dokąd zajedziemy?
Tak naprawdę zajedziemy tak daleko, jak tylko się da. Będziemy walczyć do samego końca, na pewno nie będziemy się poddawać. I tyle, zawsze tak naprawdę tak mówimy.
No dobrze, Piotrek, ja jeszcze muszę Cię zapytać, bo w tym sezonie pytamy kierowców, z którymi się spotykamy, o pierwsze auto, w którym driftowali, więc nie mogę Cię o to nie zapytać, skoro mamy taką możliwość.
Pierwsze auto, jakim driftowałem, to był Nissan, tak naprawdę, 200 Six, tak już na poważnie. Wcześniej...
Nie, pytamy niepoważnie.
Nie, tak niepoważnie, to był Maluch, no chyba każdy Polak ma tą samą odpowiedź. Także nie, no Maluch to była pierwsza driftingowa maszyna, także spełniał swoją rolę znakomicie, szczególnie jak był śnieg, bo jak tego śniegu nie było, to już gorzej. Ale tak, no wspominam go bardzo ciepło, tego niebieskiego swojego stwora.
A u Ciebie?
A u mnie właśnie próbuję sobie przypomnieć, ale chyba pierwsze takie boki to było S14 przedliftowe ze skumoruchą jako instruktorem na lotnisku w Łężu w ogóle. O, tak, to lata temu, dawno temu.
Gdybyście Państwo chcieli to powtórzyć, to będzie ciężko. Trzymamy kciuki za jutro. Dzięki panowie.
Dzięki pięknie.
So lovely interview there with Lucas and Peter Vincek. Really cool to see Peter here at DMP. Obviously, Driftmaster season is now finished, so he gets to just enjoy watching someone else take the seat for once, as you can see. And Lucas has done an incredible job. Thank you to DJ Crazy Hunter in the chat for helping do some translation for us. It also helps us understand what they're talking about, to be honest.
Lord Savior.
No, Yes, honestly, but like you were saying, Kian, my opinions on qualifying so far it's flipped my expectations. I didn't expect it to be this challenging for the drivers, and it just goes to show how well people were doing in the season, and it goes to show how unpredictable the sport can be, and that's what kind of gives it its entertainment value in some way as well, because no matter how consistent someone is or how well someone's done throughout the entire season, someone might come on, the underdog might come on top. So we'll have to see what happens with the rest of qualifying. As you can see there, we've got the second half of the second runs there. Obviously, we've just had a really good mid qualifying show. Consisting of Ben Collins, the Stig, in that Ferrari doing some laps, as well as we had the GT3 Cup car. We had the little man in the go-kart and drift car. It's been a really, really fun time to kind of be there. I've just noticed, is that a rallycross section on our right there? It looks like a rallycross section. This must be a rallycross.
I might have just missed that there, but
that is so cool.
If you are in attendance in Poznan, do be sure to head down, have a look at the lovely car show, big car show there. You can head down to, you can see the cabs down there. I think that's cabs. The yellow and white and black there. Head down, go have a look at the drivers' paddock area, go have a look at everything and talk to the drivers, go buy their merch, because if you don't buy their merch, you don't support the drivers. They can't do this. And again, support all the sponsors as well, because these guys are unbelievable. They support us through and through. They make sure that this championship runs smoothly and we have the facilities to do it. And big shout out to them, because without them, you guys wouldn't be listening to an English stream either. So big shout out to them. As we take a little bit of a peruse around the car show here, we've got an RX-8 G-Wagon, we've got some other Mercedes. As we look at the semi-pro car of Wojtek Godziewicz here, the M3 GTR kitted with the stock BMW wheels. Big respect for that. Godziewicz in 4th position at the moment in the semi-pro championship. Had a nice qualifying session there earlier on in the day, running them street Extreme tires. Big shout out to Extreme Tires as well, one of our main sponsors here at DMP, as we get a nice inside look of the M3 kitted, or the GTR kitted M3 E36. You can see what goes into these cars. There's a lot of technology, there's a lot of different bits that you don't necessarily see in other styles of motorsport. So yeah, it's looking like a very good qualifying session so far. We did have a good qualifying session for semi-pro earlier on as well, Brandon.
Yeah, it's been absolutely insane. I mean, I didn't even know that had a center exhaust. That's cool. Yeah, no, the entire season has been something else. And obviously, like you're saying, this is the first season that DMP has ever had English commentary. So to be a part of that is a great honor, and we've got to thank everyone who's believed in us, and to the entire team who have taken us on and allowed us to do what we do. But of course, we're not done yet. We've still got battles tomorrow and the rest of qualifying, so we're just going to wait on the rest of qualifying to start back up, as we do have an next driver at the line, Kian.
Yes, we do. So it's Lukas Wilczek on the line, M3 E46, 800 horsepower under the bonnet of it, as he gets ready to send it out of the start line chicane. The lights go green, he takes off, spins up the tyres as he starts to pedal that. He is sitting on a 0 at the moment, so he's going to want to improve that score dramatically to get into top 32 tomorrow, as he fires that car through this layout. Starts to drop wheels on outer zone 3 here as he gets it back on track, coming through the centre section here, transitions back out to outer zone 4, brings it around, straightens out, and that will be all she wrote for that run, unfortunately, for Lukas Wilczek. That is it for his weekend. That will be a 0-0, Brandon.
That is very unfortunate, but welcome to drifting. Like I said, it's very unpredictable, and unless you're on the top of your A game, anything can happen. So you got to make sure that you're fully committed in. As you can see here, coming through 3, he did do that dirt drop that did unsettle the car a little bit. So then at that point, it's kind of a catch-up game with the rest of the layout. As he comes through out of 4, nothing seems to be going wrong there, but obviously the car just grips up, he pulls straight, and he just, it's a very strange straighten. It's very interesting. Right, so we just had someone asking, what was the problem with the car at Drift Masters Final for Peter?
We don't know.
We to be fair, we don't know.
We no idea.
Even we were confused when we were watching it, so absolutely gutted for
I
him,
will try
but-
find out that information, and maybe I might be able to get you an answer for that tomorrow. But
Yep,
yeah, we'll try
hopefully
figure out that information. We might have some people on the ground might be able to ask that for us. But we do go back to the line. Alexandra Fiao here sitting on a 62.5 off her first run. That S13 200 SX as she initiates cleanly through outer zone 1, gets outer zone 2. She fires that back towards outer zone 3 here and starts to reel in that zone on outer zone 3. Very nice line through there. She transitions back towards outer zone 4, collects it beautifully as she works her way down towards inner clip 5 and across the line. What a run from Alexandra Fiao. This is the run she wanted to have for the whole season, Brandon.
Definitely, this is a big step up for Alexandra Fiao, showing her true potential as a driver right here. As you can see, going nice and deep on outside zone 2, coming around now across the outside zone 3, keeping it really nice and smooth as she comes through, and she's not dropping wheels there either, which is really, really good. Pulls out a little bit early, but we'll have to see what is going on there. Through the judging side, was a bit shallow in outside zone 4 as well, but at this point, this is a big step up from what she's been doing in the previous rounds. So a massive, massive congratulations to Alexandra Fiao, because it's a big mental game qualifying, so it takes a lot. So we'll have to see what the judges say about that. As you can see there. Just funny, I remember when we were talking and you could see the airport behind them, I was like, is that a Ryanair flight? Yeah, I feel sorry for their backs on the landing, but it's a 78.5, putting her in 21st position. So Alexandra Fiao is in the top 32. So we will be seeing her in battles. But now we have Dominic Kerr in the Opel GT. So
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
Dominic Kerr, one of the guys who has actually been around for a number of years, even back at Drift All-Stars, Brandon. I'm not sure if you remember back that far, but Dominic Kerr has been around for a while. He initiates that Opel GT into outer zone 1, just managed to grab outer zone 2 as he works his way to outer zone 3, just on the shallow line, does manage to get it back up onto the wide line as he comes into the center section here, transitions back towards outer zone 4, does collect that zone as he works his way down into inner zone 5 and collects that too. That was a very fast-paced run, Brandon.
That car, that Opel GT flies around the track. I mean, the way it leans as well, it's on full tilt. Obviously, does just miss out of zone 2, which is very unfortunate for Dominic. But as we move on, oh god, apologies, it's been a long day. As the sun starts to set over there. But no, Dominic Kerr really attacking this track at full tilt, full commitment. As you can see here, as he comes through out of 4. Definitely one of the better runs he's done today. As he comes around into the inner clip, and you can just see, look at the way it's tilting over onto the lead wheel. It is crazy. So we're going to have to see what the judges scored at.
And it's one of these things as well, like you can see these drivers, Dominic has been around for years, and even this track is catching him out. He's a very good driver, and like this track is so difficult that it's catching out some of the best in the game. And we do get a score for Dominic, and it is an 81.5, and that's 19th position for him. But like as I was saying, it's catching some big names out, Brandon, and I don't think we're finished with the track catching drivers out.
Oh no, I just seen someone in the chat saying drink some coffee. I don't, unfortunately I don't like coffee, so I've got a Monster by my side. But we'll have to see what Marek can do. Has he got more energy than me? We'll find out as that PS13 flies down the straight. I'm going to round out initiating into outside zone 1. Looking nice and tidy on the outside line through 2. 116 kilometers an hour on the gun. So looking nice and fast. But look at this line from Marek as he comes around outside zone 3, transitioning now through the Banshee section, coming around into outside zone 4. Does go a bit shallow and leaves it early, and does slightly miss out inner clip 5 there. but definitely one of the more consistent runs from Marek there.
Yeah, absolutely. Marek doing an incredible job in this beautiful, beautiful PS13 here. I love this car. As he works that car around outer zone 2, does a very tidy job as he transitions back to outer zone 3. And just here, he is in the zone doing a fairly tidy job, but from here, he just kind of leaves it a little bit early. You see the hesitation there as he tried to come out early. When he transitions back here to outer zone 4, he does collect the zone, but kind of just leaves it a little bit shallow than he would have liked, and then comes into the inner clip here at 5, and I think his trailing wheel just about clipped it there. I think judges looking for the trailing wheel more than anything coming through that zone. So we will see what the judges make of that one. That car, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I say it every round I commentate. I love it. I love the grayscale. It is probably one of the coolest liveries I've ever seen. And that's an 83.5 on the board for Marek Vartovic in 19th position. That puts him.
I am offended, Keane. I did the grayscale before he did.
Yeah, but he did it better.
Oh wow! Okay, I see how it is. Well, we'll discuss this after. But now we have Zolt Homan on the start line, initiating into outer zone 1, coming around into outer zone 2. This is looking much better from Zolt Homan though. As it comes around into outer zone 3, this is looking really good. Oh, a bit of a bobble there as it comes around through that large outside zone. Transitioning through the Manji section now, coming around into outside zone 4. Nice proximity in there to the outside line. Look at this from Zolt Homan. Where has this been all day?
Yeah, very clean run there from Zolt Homan, as we will look back at the replay and have a look at this run. So in through clip 1, very tidy, just kick up a little bit of dirt there, nothing too major as he comes through the outer zone 2 as well. Very clean through there, running that wide line quite perfectly as he turns back to outer zone 3. Again, running that wide line very cleanly. A little bit of a bobble there, here and there, but nothing over exaggerated. As he comes to the center section of the track here, transitions once, and then transitions back again to outer zone 4, doing a very tidy job, paints that white line black at the start of that zone, and then works that 180SX down towards inner clip 5 and across the line. Very, very tidy driving here from Zolt Homan, doing an incredible job. The man from Hungary just putting it all on the line, and he was trying to find that all season, and it's all just come together for him, it seems. So we will wait for the judges to drop in the scores for that run. I think we could be looking at a higher qualifying score than his previous one. It's an 84.5, dropping him into 19th position. That is the third driver in a row to replace 19th position on our leaderboard. As we go back to the line, the carbon Kevlar of Tobias Pushan in that BMW E92, that Eurofighter HGK car. 800 horsepower in this car as he fires that E92 down the track, initiates through outer zone 1, in through outer zone 2, just about misses it as he transitions back towards outer zone 3, runs very wide and loops it, goes Tobias Pushan, unfortunately, and shuts it down. Unfortunate for Tobias Pushan, not the way he would have wanted that to go, but a man who is a very good driver, proved himself time and time again throughout this season. And as he gives the crowd a little bit of a wave there, and I'm being corrected by Drift Chat, not a HGK car, not a Eurofighter, so that is just a Carbon Kevlar E92. I stand corrected. I do apologize. Thank you, Drift Chat. Embarrassing me like that. And Brandon will break this run down.
So, just missing out 2. Obviously, it's very unfortunate there. And I do believe this is where it all goes down. Just dropping there, and obviously there's zero grip in that section. So, I mean, your wheels don't really want to be there anyway, but unfortunately that does spin him around. But the only downside to this is we might have to, it could make it a bit slippy for the next driver that goes across there. So we'll have to see what happens, but that does mean his weekend is over, unfortunately, as we will be moving on to the next driver, which is already out the line, and it is going to be the most insane 350 I've ever seen in my life. And Kian, I know you love this car quite a lot.
I do indeed. He's currently sitting on an 89.5 is Pavel Hudacek from the Czech Republic. 800 horsepower Nissan 350Z. Unbelievable car. I think these things should be put in pro drifting more. Now, saying that, I know they have their own little nuances, but Pavel Hudacek running them Tri-Ace tires as he waits for the start lights to go green, gives the nod to the start line marshal as the marshal turns on the lights. Lights go green, and Pavel Hudacek will leave the start line chicane as he powers that 350Z down. Big flick entry into outer zone 1. Pedals that 350Z through outer zone 2. 96 kilometers an hour on the gun as he transitions back and goes off again. That will be a 0 on the board for Pavel Hudacek. Another 0, 2 in a row. But Pavel Hudacek will see. I'm not too sure what his first score is. It enough to be in the top 32? But we can see here, Brandon, as he just comes into outer zone 3, just gets onto the marvels too much, and that is it. He straight off track, 3 wheels off. So unfortunately, that will be all she wrote.
Yeah, we said it. We both said it. Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
No.
He is still in the top 32 though with an 89.5, so he is safe into the battles tomorrow. So he will definitely have a sigh of relief there. As we have at the line probably the most interesting S15 I've seen in a while. Obviously it's a twin turbo V8, I do believe. I think it's a V8.
I believe so.
Yes, it is. Yep, just based off of that grunt. So, yep, this is Peter Kowalski in the Tiger Energy S15 with the craziest started V8 inside of that. Looking really good, though, so far as he comes around now into zone 3. Looking nice inside. A bit of a slower initiation, but does drop tyres there as he comes across there. You can see the light bar in the grille looking pretty aggressive as he comes around now in towards it in the clip 5. Does make it work, but definitely not the strongest run.
No, not at all, unfortunately. As we will break this down, you can see coming through outer zone 2, just kind of grabs it there as he transitions back for outer zone 3. Does manage to grab it initially and does carry it around for a certain amount. You see him on that left foot brake, and that does push him a little bit wide as he transitions back here through the center section and transitions back towards outer zone 4. Does collect that zone nicely, and you can see there's a little bit of a check up there coming just before the bump as he rotates that car around for inner clip 5 and across the line. So we will see what happens here now with Piotr Kozłowski as the judges drop in their scores. We will see them pop up on the screen in a couple of seconds. And we will line up our next driver onto the line, which will be Thomas Magnier, I believe, as we wait for the score for Kozłowski. And yeah, it drops in. It's an 81 on the board, and that drops him into 23rd position. So a good improvement there for Piotr Kozłowski. And he will be happy with that improvement as we move it along. And it is Thomas Magnier, the man who had clutch issues earlier on, missed his first qualifying run. So he is sitting on a 0 right now. That Mercedes 190E, 850 horsepower in this car as he starts to spin them tires off the line down, and a lot of wheel spin coming up towards the line as he fires that 190E through the first corner, transitions back to outer zone 3, gets it onto that line and powers that 190 around this track in Poznan here as he goes to outer zone 4, just about misses it. Another handbrake stab there as he comes through between 4 and 5, and across the line goes Thomas Magnier. Not a bad run for a one and done run.
Definitely not an easy position to be in, especially knowing that he kind of just missed out on a lot of time to get accustomed to the track, especially not knowing what the conditions were going to be like whatsoever compared to practice. So it's definitely not an easy place to be. So fair play to him for trying to put a run down But it's now the question of, is it enough to get into the top 32? We will have to see.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll wait for that judges to drop in the score, and that clutch working quite nicely now, I would say. Somebody put into the chat there, it seems like the clutch is working fine now, and that definitely does seem to be the case as we wait for that score to drop in. And then on the line, it will be Samuel Mladenov waiting in that E92 as we get the judges' scores to drop in.
Obviously, it's been a very, very interesting set of qualifying runs, and we are starting to get towards the top end of points leaderboard now. So we are going to be seeing some of the bigger drivers, and some of them have been struggling. So we're going to have to see if they can make any bigger scores.
And it's a 75.5. Unfortunately, that will be all she wrote for Thomas Magnier this season, dropping him into 34th position. And that will be it for his weekend and his season. As we go back to the line, Samuel Mladenov in that E92, 711 horsepower in here. 65.5 sitting outside of the top 32 at the moment is Samuel Mladenov as he fires that E92 down towards outer zone 1, flicks it in, brings it to outer zone 2, does manage to collect that zone as he transitions back here now to outer zone 3, doing a very tidy job around outer zone 3 is Samuel as he transitions through the centre section back towards outer zone 4 here and around towards outer zone 5 over the bump very comfortably and across the line he goes. Very tidy run there from Samuel, doing an incredible job in that car. He's looking very, very comfortable now.
So going through from 2 to 3, looking really good. Look at that from the E92, just floating back and just being right where he needed to be. Looking absolutely insane. Coming through the margin section, you can see the toe strap just flapping up into the headlight there. Coming around now into 4, looking very good. Samuel really is starting to get on form again, but does look like he almost got a bit of understeer there, or should I say oversteer, as he came through towards inner clip 5. So we're going to see what the judges say about that.
As we wait for the judges' scores to drop in.
So Samuel getting a 80.5, so that will see him into the top 32 with a 24th position. So good stuff there from Samuel. As we now have up at the line Martin Neyman waiting with a 78 on the score board. So we're going to have to see if he can make any improvements, as getting into top 32 is getting a bit harder as we go through in this F32. Nice initiation, bit shallow, which he does have to fight to get out to outer zone 2 as he comes through into outer zone 3. That keeps him nice and controlled. Lovely stuff there, maybe just almost dropping half a tyre as he comes around now into outer zone 4. Looking really, really good as he comes around into inner clips 5 and across the line. Not too shabby at all. So we'll go into the replay and see what we can do. So initiating in, obviously just a little bit hesitant, has to really struggle to pull the car around where it needs to be. Coming around out of 3 though, we love to see it. As he comes around, does almost pretty much drop a tyre there, so the judges might be looking at that as he comes around now and transitions across into outer zone 4. Looking absolutely dialed through this section as he comes through, just almost, that was pretty close as he comes across the line. So I wonder what the judges will think.
Yeah, we will wait for the judges to drop in that score for Martin Neyman in that beautiful F22. That Polish driver has had a decent season, not a bad season by any stretch of the imagination. So we will hopefully have a score for him here, and it's a 74.5, so not an improvement. It keeps him into 28th position here. As we move it back to the line here, we have Kamil Harecki on the line with them JR wheels. So Kamil Harecki sitting on a 0 at the moment, so that 1 series, he's going to have to pilot that absolutely perfectly, go through outer zone 1, straight into outer zone 2 as he transitions back here to outer zone 3, carries the momentum around and keeps it on angle, and just about drops tires on the edge of the end of that zone as he comes back to outer zone 4 and powers that 1 series. Oh, and it's an opposite drift. It's an opposite drift, so that will be another 0, so a double 0 for Kamil Harecki. Unfortunately for him, that will be all she wrote. That was a decent run up until that point. He got through outer zone 1 and 2, collected 2 as well. So it was looking okay up until that point. He looking like he's getting a score on the board there. But yeah, unfortunately for Kamil Harecki, let's see what happened here as he transitions back here to outer zone 4. This is where it started to go wrong. Gets into outer zone 4. And it looks like he hits the bump and it just upsets the cars right after the bump. The straighten happens, so that will be a 0 for him, unfortunately. So we will have a look and see what the judges make sure that is a 0. Yep, absolutely. So double 0 for Kamil Harecki. Not the end to the season that he would have liked, but we will hopefully see him back next season. As we go back to the line, we do have Fabian Dorzinski on the line in that Spotsov Motorsport S15, throwing the keys to this morning in practice. Scored a 78.5 in his first qualifying run. What can he do on his second here as he leaves the start line chicane? Transitions that car beautifully, initiates into outer zone 1 and gets outer zone 2 very nicely here. Good line here from Fabian Dorzinski as he pilots that S15 around outer zone 3 on a very wide line. As he comes into the center section, transitions back to outer zone 4. Fabian Dorzinski is on a flyer here as he gets to outer zone inner clip 5 and across the line. This will be an incredible score for Fabian Dorzinski. This is what he was looking for. And with all the problems that he had yesterday in practice with his car, David Spotsov said, "Here, take my car. This car is proven, I would say fairly identical to David Spotsov's car." And a lot of the Spotsov Motorsport teams, I know there's 2 of these cars in the semi-pro category that are very, very similar, all the very same styling anyway. But Fabian, absolutely loving this car. He's saying it's a very, very fast car on Instagram earlier on. So we will hopefully see the score of this, a very high score, I would think. And we see the chat giving some clapping emojis there as we wait for the judges' scorecards to drop in here. Will he get a good score? Will he be in the top 3? Fabian Dorzinski wanting to prove a point here this weekend. The penultimate round of the season. He wants to finish well here. And obviously there's points up for grabs here in the championship as well for qualifying. So if the higher you score in qualifying, the higher you're going to have in the championship. So all the points are important here as we do get a qualifying score, and it's an 89 for Fabian Dorzinski, drops him into 10th position. A very, very nice run. He'll be happy with that. As we roll it back to the line, we have Mateusz Suski on the line in that beautiful A90 Supra. So 1,000 horsepower in this. He lost a bonnet last round, and we lost another A90 Supra, lost its wheel earlier on. So let's see what happens now. Will Mateusz break the curse of the A90 and just send it through? He does indeed. He gets through outer zone 2, rotates around to outer zone 3, puts that car on that beautiful wide line, maybe just dropping a wheel there as he comes around outer zone 3, transitions back now to 4, pedals that A90 Supra down towards inner clip 5 and across the line. A very tidy run there from Mateusz Suski, other than that one wheel drop there towards the end of outer zone 3. Very, very nice. As we're seeing the wrong replay here, we have the replay of Fabian Dorzinski instead of Mateusz Suski, as we're still seeing our Icelandic flags being put into chat here I'm sorry, Benny didn't qualify. But he's happy anyway because he got to drive. Matej Suski, here we go. Here's the replay. Inner clip, outer zone 1 and 2, very, very nicely. But very nice as well out to outer zone 3. And you can just see from here, he starts to drop that wheel outside of the zone. So the judges will deduct him some points on that. And when he transitions back to outer zone 4, it is very clean from here on out. He goes over that bump, not a huge amount of bobbling there over the bump. So that will be a nice score for him in the second run. As we wait for the scores to drop in for Matej Suski, and that's an 82 on the board, drops him into his 22nd position. He'll be happy with that improvement from his first score. Very, very good improvement here, as we have some steam or some smoke possibly coming off Vedemark's car. Victor Vedemark from Sweden. That S14.9 carbon Kevlar, lovely, lovely car. Reminds me a lot of Forrest Wang's car, as he has them 59 North wheels on the S14.9. Looks insane. Big country lad wing on it too, as he starts to fire that S14.9 down into outer zone 1, around to outer zone 2, just about comes up short as he fires it around again to outer zone 3, brings that car onto the line. A little bit of a bobble halfway through zone there as he transitions back now to outer zone 4, doing a very tight line. The second half of this run is Victor Vedemark as he comes through inner clip 5 and across the line. Very, very tidy driving there.
Very nice
from
indeed, Victor Vedemark. He's always doing the biggest things he can. Obviously, a lot of style in the car and his own driving. Obviously, missing outside zone 2 there, unfortunately. But it just seems to be the bane of everyone in qualifying today. As you can see there, those chrome wheels absolutely just shining as the sun hits them. Such a stylish car. Oh, they do. Like, the whole car is a picture, really, when you look at it. But definitely an improvement from his first run, I would say. So we'll have to see if it puts him through, as the judges are going to be looking for a lot of precision.
Yeah, so a couple of people may be confused on the S14.9 there. So that is an S14 chassis and roof and everything. You can kind of tell from the roof, with an S15 body kit. Thank you to the guys in the chat that are explaining that. So it is very, very cool. It was kind of made popular by a couple of guys here in Europe, but a lot of people across the world now starting to really make that. And Victor Vedemark, unfortunately, dropping out of competition, 33rd position with that second run. So it is an improvement, but it's not enough, unfortunately, as we do go back to the line. And on the line, it is none other than Bartosz Stolarski, Brandon.
So Bartosz Stolarski being a very talented driver, an 81.5 in his first run. So he has got some room to improve. But we'll have to see what he can do with this. Obviously, in S15 with the Rocket Bunny kit, once again, very popular kit in Poland as he comes around into R2. Does miss R2. Once again, another driver doing that, but he does float the car perfectly into R 3. It does pull a bit shallow, and it looks like as the sun starts to go down, the grip is getting even more intense for these cars. And look at the way the cars are bouncing on that bump there. It is intense for the suspension.
Yeah, absolutely. As we take a look back at the replay here now, let's see how this went for Bartosz Stolarski. Does miss outer zone 2, just doesn't get there quick enough, and by the time he is out on that line, he would have been too wide. Does transition back to outer zone 3, doing a very tidy job up until he starts to drift out a little bit, just starts to drop out of it very early. And when he transitions back here to outer zone 4, he does a fairly tidy job getting through outer zone 4, right on that perfect line. Comes over the bump. You can see a lot of drivers starting to use that bump now to angle up the car to get down enough to outer zone, or the inner clip 5 rather. So we will see what the judges make out of that, and hopefully it will be an improvement on his previous score, as we get a nice shot of the tarmac here. You can see what kind of tarmac we have. It's quite a good grain, a lot of grip in that track, especially with these extreme soft tires. Big shout out to Extreme Tires, and it's an 81.5. If you're going to be one thing, be consistent. 81.5 on both runs leaves them in 23rd position. As we go back to the line here, we have Greg Merlew on the line. BMW E92, 970 horsepower. We wait for Greg to power that car around this Poznań track as he fires that E92, flicks it hard into outer zone 1, and straightens, and he will be in the tyre wall. Greg Merlew entered at 116 kilometers an hour there as he throws the door open once, twice. He will not be a happy man after what happened last round as well. He did have that contact with Karolina Pilarczyk, and that did have knock-on effects to the rest of that round. Let's see what happened here.
Very strange and uncharacteristic mistake there from Greg Merlew. What happened? So you just caught grip, and the car just kind of, unless the car shut down potentially. It's hard to say.
It could be a number of things. Like what we're seeing there is, you can see the steering as well is kind of changing direction a lot as well. Maybe like there you go, you saw flames out the back of the car there as well. So it wasn't the engine shut down. Maybe broke a steering arm, or maybe, do you know what, the car just zigged when it should have zagged. Who knows? But that will be a 0 on the board for Greg Merlew, and that will be the end of his season, unfortunately, leaving him in 34th position. Unfortunately, very, very unfortunate, because he is such a good driver. It is very, very unfortunate. We saw last round, he made me lose my voice last round. That was some of the best driving I've ever seen. It was incredible. But we will go back to the line here. We do have RS Mizelchuk warming his tires, and I did get it right that time.
Yeah, I'm not going to attempt it, because every time I think of it, it just makes me think of Goofy. I don't know why. It's just I feel awful for saying that, but at the same time, that's just how my brain works. So now we have him on the 77. So we want to see him improve as he comes around now down the main straight. He's going to initiate in to out of zone 1, coming around towards out of zone 2. Not looking too bad this time as he comes around into out of zone 3. This is looking really good, nice and controlled here in that S14, coming in and leaving out of zone 3 in a decent time. Could have left a little bit later, but perfect for out of zone 4. Just sticking onto the line, goes through the bump. Look at this one. That is incredible. What a drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's break this down, this replay here. So, good initiation there from outer zone 1 to 2. Does manage to collect outer zone 2. A lot of drivers starting to figure out that outer zone 2 now and getting it around to outer zone 3. Does do a very tidy job here with outer zone 3. Does get very deep in there. I'm not sure if he drops wheels. Can't really see from that angle. But when he transitions through this center section here, a little bit kind of shallow angle on that transition and coming through outer zone 4, a lot of guys carrying a lot more angle through that zone as he comes over the bump and on that left foot brake to get that car settled down into the bottom of the track to get inner clip 5. So we will see RS Mizelchuk even, what comes through there with his scores from the judges, as I can see on my list who the next driver is, and I am getting very, very excited about who it is, Brandon. Kevin Verubel will be on the line, as we do get the score of an 85.5 for RS Mizelchuk, and that is 19th position. Somebody taking 19th position again. And we are going to start seeing, this is going to be sparks. We have Kevin Verubel. The man is driving like a man possessed this season. That's Tsuchigiri wheel Brandon loves to mention in that car, as Kevin Verubel leaves the line in that E36, beautiful E36, as he initiates into outer zone 1, fires it along to outer zone 2, does collect that zone very nicely as he transitions back to outer zone 3, doing an incredible job here is Kevin Verubel as he transitions back again through the center section, around to outer zone 4, collects it beautifully, and around down to inner clip 5, and across the line goes Kevin Verubel. What a run from Kevin Unbelievable stuff here, Brandon.
Definitely, Kevin Ribble putting on a show for everyone as always in that gorgeous E36. Definitely a massive improvement to his first run, and this is the Kevin Ribble we're used to seeing more of. As you can see there, pulling through out of the zone 3 in a lovely way, keeping it nice and tidy, really good proximity towards the outside line, not getting too close, not getting too far, just in the right spot, right where the judges want to see him as he comes across. Look at this from out zone 4, absolutely pinpoint, maybe leaving a bit earlier than he needed to, but then that is the grip playing into his cards, and across the line through in a clip 5, just incredible drive.
Yeah, Kevin, one of them drivers who's just always on point, knows his car inside and out, knows exactly what he has to do. And a driver who's very smart at driving, a very technical driver. He knows in battles where he needs to place his car and how to compete against different competitors. He's incredible at it, as we saw last round as well. And the previous rounds, the man is unbelievable at driving smart. So we will wait for the scores to drop in here from the judges. And somebody said there in the chat, E36 still looks amazing. I agree, that car is beautiful. That is one of my favorite E36s ever, as he gets a 93.5 on the board, and that's third position for Kevin Verubel. Good improvement there from his previous score of an 87.5. So he will be delighted with that. He will go back to the pits a happy man as we move it along to our next driver on the grid. This is a big one, Brandon. This is Mikołaj Zarakewski, the Silvia S15, 800 horsepower on the line here. As the lights start to illuminate, we do get the green light. He leaves the line here, and Mikołaj Zarakewski initiates into outer zone 1. Oh, and just clipped the dirt there, loses the bumper, clips dirt again through outer zone 2, and starts to continue around outer zone 3 here. Does manage to complete that zone cleanly as he transitions back to outer zone 4 here. Very fast-paced run here from Zarakewski as he goes through inner clip 5 and across the line.
Very sketchy. Oh my God.
He lifted off the ground.
Literally, like 3 wheels off the floor at least. Like there was literally 1 tire keeping that car gripped. That was something. Definitely an interesting way to eject your rear bumper, I'd say that. It kind of looked like a movie effect for explosions in the background. But yeah, really good recovery though, considering the hit he took there on that dirt drop. And I'm genuinely surprised it didn't DB the tyre, to be honest, with the pressures some of these guys are running. But he manages to finish off the run strong. Obviously, it could be a bit of a problem for the judges, though, seeing that kind of dirt drop, because it can hinder the chase quite a bit. I mean,
Yeah,
it is a little decel zone there, but you don't use the dirt for it.
No, they want you to stay on track. And yeah, like as you said, Brandon, a lot of people that maybe if you're new to drifting, and we do get a score there, it's a 76 on the board for Mikołaj Zarakewski, drops him into 18th position from his first run. Like I was saying, a lot of people who may be new to drifting, what the judges want here is a chaseable lead run. So they lay out this qualifying run and the line that they want to run. And then
Master
in
Chief?
battle tomorrow, the lead run will be that qualifying line. The driver has to chase it, as we have Nasser Al-Habali Urias to go down the track here as he enters into outer zone 1, fires it around to outer zone 2, flicks back to outer zone 3, pedals that boss kid S14 around. The man from El Salvador on a mission here to prove that he is worth his while being here. Gets around to outer zone 4 and over the bump. Very settled, that car coming over the bump through inner clip 5 and across the line. A very tidy run there from Nasser Al-Habali.
Definitely a bit of a sketchier run compared to the first. But obviously, we'll have to see what the judges think of that. Obviously, Nasser trying his hardest to get that car to do what it needs to do. But obviously, it seems to, with the way itself, it does prefer a lower angle on those bigger corners. So as you can see here, as it comes around and through, doing a stellar job, though, of keeping that absolute beast tamed as much as he can. And that helmet, honestly, looks like Master Chief if he was a drift car driver. It's great. I love it. And as he comes across the line, good way to finish the run. Obviously, just a little bit scatty in the start.
Yeah, and we'll see what the judges make of that one there, as we do have Kuba Proganski on the line, waiting to go down the track for his second qualifying run. The judges will be deliberating Nasser's score a little bit here, as we get a lovely drone shot of the Poznań track here in Poland. 15 years of smoke, DMP, Polish National Series. I'm not even going to try attempt the Polish version of that, but we will wait. We'll wait very patiently here.
We do not want to end.
It's an 83.5, so not an improvement there. Still in 13th position is Nasser Al-Habrali. As we go back to the line here, it is,
I'll be honest,
the red eyes of Kuba Proganski.
I'll be honest, I want to keep my job, so I'd rather not mess up the Polish name of the championship, to be honest. But obviously, Jakub Brzezinski being a very, very heavy hitter, 91 to start with that SRL wing on the back. Obviously, you can see oils on the front, Red Bull on the side. This man has got many accomplishments as he comes around into out of zone 3. Look at this line driving from Jakub Brzezinski. This is textbook driving as he comes around now through the middle section in the Manji, still coming up a bit shallow into 4. As he comes around into inner clip 5, it just seems to be that Jakub is just struggling to get the car deep into 4.
Well, luckily he does sit on a 91 from his first run, and he should be safe for his top 32, I would say, fairly safe. But this is only one half of the story today, and we have battles all day tomorrow. And if there's one place Kuba Proganski does shine, it's battles. This man is one of the best chase drivers in the world, and we will see that tomorrow 100%, I think. And tomorrow will be a very interesting story for chase drivers, how they're chasing over that particular bump that Kuba just went over in the replay there. And we will see what the judges make of Kuba's score here. But Brando, I think it'll be a very interesting day tomorrow. What do you think?
Definitely, with the quality of the drivers throughout this entire season. Obviously, there's a lot of underdogs coming up from previous rounds into this round and doing much better than some of the top drivers from previous rounds. And obviously, as we get towards the points leaders now in the championship, this is where it gets interesting. But Jakub Brzezinski getting a 94 for his second run, which puts him in 3rd position. So incredible driving from Jakub Brzezinski. So now we'll have to move on to our next driver, which will be Valery Shevelov in that S13 hatch. Incredible driver from Ukraine, great personality as well. He's just happy to be here, and he doesn't even think he didn't expect himself to be doing this well this season. So he is just in it for the fun now, and he's hungry to try and get a championship in his belt. As he comes around outside zone 2, an incredible job as he comes around now into outside zone 3. Oh, just maybe almost dropping a tyre there, but manages to keep it going somehow as he comes around through the Manji section into outside zone 4. Once again, struggling to get deep into 4 as he comes around now into ending club 5. Once again, just cutting over that rumble, and that could cut off the chase.
Yeah, absolutely. Valery Shevelov, a man who's out here saying, look, I didn't expect to do this well this season, but I'm not complaining either. Does a very tidy run here. Now, there was a little bit of a checkup just here. He shallowed off angle and then kind of had to re-go again. And you can see he did actually drop wheels there. He did kick up a bit of mud on the side of the track there. So he will get deducted some points for that, as he does get into outer zone 4 just about as he powers that S13 hatch around that last corner through inner clip 5 and across the line, lifting that trailing wheel. That car extremely hooked up with grip. So we will see what the judges make of that, as we do have the man, the myth, the legend, Jakub Kroll on the line. That S14.9 of Jakub Kroll, an unbelievable driver and a man who's been around for quite a long time. He's been driving Drift Masters for a number of years. He's been driving DMP for a number of years. This man is definitely someone who will... Well, he's in the running for the championship right now, and Shevelov gets another 74, which unfortunately will not be enough to get him into top 32. That will be the end of his season for him. As we do go back to the line, the modal start line of... And Jakub Kroll sitting there. 918 horsepower, S14.9. Jakub Kroll, the Polish man, will leave the start line. Through the start line chicane he goes as he pedals that S14.9 down to outer zone 1, flicks that S14.9, carries out to outer zone 2, rotates around to outer zone 3 now. Good line through outer zone 3. Very nice here from Jakub Kroll as he transitions back to outer zone 4 and around, points that car now for inner clip 5 and across the line. Does a very, very tidy job of that, Brandon.
Definitely Jakub Kroll being a very precise driver as always as we get towards these top points drivers. But once again, though, still kind of struggling to get into grips with out of zone 2, which just goes to show you that some of the best in the country just still having moments up with a grip. And look at the way the smoke's just bellowing out of the back. It's stunning. I love the way that smoke forms around the back of a car as they come around in towards out of 4. Not looking too bad. It's just a couple of spots could have been a bit better in the line. Obviously, as long as he gets into battles, that's all that matters to him. So we'll have to see what happens after that, as he does have a bit of underglow on, which is pretty cool. And we have Lukas Dazimski at the line.
Jakub Kroll as well, one of them incredible chase drivers as well. Like, even if he doesn't qualify first tomorrow, he is going to be one of the best chase drivers on the grid. I guarantee it. He is unbelievable. Himself and Kuba Przgonski, two of the best chase drivers in the world, I would say. They go hell for leather, and it's an 81 on the board, so not an improvement, but that is 12th position for Kuba Kroll. As we do move back to the line, like you said, Brandon, that is Lukasz Tsemski, the Virtual Drift Masters president, the man who spends a lot of time on the sim developing his line driving. And let's be honest, a man who is an incredible line driver. As the lights illuminate and they go green here, Lukasz Tsemski leaves the line through the start line chicane, flicks that S14 down into outside zone 1 here, and billows smoke from the back of the car as he collects outer zone 2, rotates around to outer zone 3, and look at the line here from Lukasz Tsemski right on the outside line of outer zone 3 as he rotates around back to outer zone 4. On a flyer of a lap here is Lukasz Tsemski as he collects outer zone 5 perfectly, and across the line goes Lukasz Tsemski.
Once again, Lukasz showing why he is at the top of, well, one of the top drivers of the season. As you can see here, just lovely line, utilizing the left foot brake to guide the car around, and you can tell he's a sim driver just based off of how he drives. So smooth, so collected, and as you can see coming through the managing section as well, his consistency and angle control is just next to none. It's just, you can't really fault him. The only place he could be a little bit deeper in certain places, like here and out of 4, but then again, the line was just pretty much bang on, and you just can't go wrong. Like, Lukasz Tsemski, what a pilot, and I'm hoping the judges are going to agree with us on that one. So we'll have to see. Look at the way the smoke, look at the way the smoke's just hitting the sun. Oh my word, that is a sight to behold. That is stunning. But a 95 for Lukasz Tsemski, putting himself into 3rd place. A massive step up from his first run. So, this is what I mean. He's just
seeing in the chat there, Brandon,
animal.
someone says, we need more Zenki S14, and I completely agree. I approve this statement. Yes, we need more Zenki S14s in drifting. I love them. I love them.
You're Keane's favourite person now. Just remember that.
Yeah.
But now we have the
Absolutely.
points leader, Mads Andresen, on a 77.5. This is a man who's wanting the championship. And look at that shot. Look at the sunset. This is perfection. This is the perfect way to finish qualifying. As we have Mads Andresen now coming around, initiating into outside zone 1, coming around into outside zone 2. Nice proximity on the zone so far as he comes around into outside zone 3. This is looking really good so far. Mads Andresen is a man possessed in that E92. He wants this more than anyone as he comes around, coming into outside zone 4. Can he collect in 5? Yes, he can. What a run from Mads Andresen. What a way to finish.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. Mads on a flyer this season as a whole. Of course, our points leader does do an incredible job here on initiation, does collect outer zone 1 and 2. When he transitions back here to rotate around to outer zone 3 here, you can see he picks his angle. He does have a tiny bit of a bobble here, but he corrects it very minimally. There's not a whole lot of correction there, but he holds his line perfectly throughout outer zone 3. As he transitions here back to outer zone 4, collects this zone again perfectly. Not a flaw with that, but there was a handbrake dab there. And I think the judges will see that and mark him down. But that is the only two things I can pick apart on that run, is that tiniest tiny correction on outer zone 3 and that little handbrake dab there before inner clip 5.
Oh my
Literally
God,
picking apart a run here, splitting hairs. You cannot get better than this.
That view is just that is pure. Just I have no words. Like the drone pilot's loving it. I can tell. Like he's just the way the mist is just going through everything as well, and it's just the scenery
Drone
is just
pilot's
absolutely.
just getting some Instagram clips here. This is
That is not even Instagram. That is B-roll for a film.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. As
Wow.
we wait for Mads Andersen here to get his scores from the judges.
We're just filming a drifting rom-com. As he gets a 91.5, put him into 8th position. So not quite up at the top, but he is going to be happy with that. And he has secured a place into the top 32. So his championship fight is still alive.
Yeah, and we will have a look here now in a few moments at our leaderboard from qualifying here today for Pro.
I do believe I did see another...
Yeah.
I did see... oh, no. So that is going to be the end of qualifying, yes.
Yeah. So we do have the end of qualifying. So first position, David Spasov with 97 points on the board. And that was on his first run, by the way. Mikhail Reihard with a 95.5. Lukas Szczesny with a 95. Jakub Brzezowski with a 94. Kevin Brubel with a 93. Peter Utasi with a 93. Lukas Kalowiski, I butchered that, I'm so sorry, with a 93 as well. Mads Andersen with a 91.5. Alex Holovnia with a 91. And Tim Lipski with a 90-point run. As we move along, Pavel Hudacek with an 89.5. Piotr Stancek with an 89. Fabian Dorzinski with an 89. Jakub Kroll with an 88.5. Naso Alhobali with an 88. As Karolina Prilacek also gets an 88. Maciej Jarkovic gets an 87. Christine Salamer gets an 86.5. So does Christian Erlandson and Mikołaj Zarokeski. As we move along here now, Oras Mizohyuk getting an 85.5. Zolt Holman with 84.5. Marek Vartalovic getting an 83.5. Mateusz Suski with an 82. Bartosz Stolarski with an 81.5. Dominik Kerr with an 81.5. Peter Kozłowski with an 81. Samuel Mladinov with an 80.5. Krzysztof Kojkarz with an 80. And Alexandra Fiau with a 78.5. And our last two drivers of our top 32, Marcin Neyman with a 78. And Matthias Druskin with a 77.5. So, we will go through the rest of our grid here. So, some of the guys getting zeros. Darius Fabishak, unfortunately. Matthias Fiau also out. Tim Heidrich out. Benedikt Sturgeson is out as well. Camille Horecki with that 00. Victor Anderson as well. Obviously not even running with that powertrain failure earlier on yesterday. So, unfortunate for those guys bowing out of their competition. Hopefully we will see all of them back for next season. Brandon, what a qualifying session that has been.
Oh yes, I mean, look at the view. It's been absolutely insane. And that does conclude our last qualifying session of the DMP 2025 season, the Polish Drift Championship. We are celebrating 15 years of smoke. Massive thank you to all the sponsors who could be making this possible, all the team, all the track staff, all the live stream, and all of the spectators and everyone on here on YouTube coming to check in and watch this championship and watch these drivers go absolutely crazy. It has been an absolute pleasure, and we will be moving on tomorrow to go into the top 16 for semi-pro and top 32 pro. So we'll see you then.